Hey everybody, welcome back to another Lightbringer. So we've got some fun stuff planned for tonight. As you may have seen the last episode, everybody's in a library and Conrad's in a spooky basement with spooky things while nobody knows where he is. Sure nothing bad will come of that.
I'm sure Xavier's not going to be pissed if he finds out.
It's fine.
No, it's fine.
It's fine.
So we'll see what happens
Xavier's
there.
totally not going to be like, you went to the spooky basement without me? How dare you?
Maybe,
How dare you?
Maybe, just maybe, we'll see if they find Kara tonight. We'll find out. Before we jump into the game with all the story, though, I'm going to give everybody a chance to quickly introduce themselves. I'll cover how you, as viewers, can actually affect the story. You can actually help our brave kid characters here, or you can even help me make it harder for them. It's entirely up to you. So I'll explain how to do that, and then we'll jump right in. So, starting with introductions, let's start with Michael. Tell us a little bit about Billy and yourself.
Hello there, I'm Mike Wayne on the interwebs. I will be playing Billy, who just unlocked a Keyblade, maybe? Well, it's what you get from dancing all night with a fish, so... Now, hopefully there'll be something more, but who knows? It's fine, it's fine.
We'll find out. And Ekinorlax, tell us a little bit about Nira and yourself.
Hi everybody, my name is Ekinorlax. You can find me under this name on Twitch and on Twitter. I'm playing Nira. She's a small, 2 feet tall, cat-like humanoid in a stormtrooper armor, here known as the Sentinel. And she's a cleric of the Radiant Fish Giver currently.
I love it.
After a brief career as Steve. And that's all.
All right. Next, we've got Gwen. Tell us a little bit about Xavier and yourself.
Yeah, I totally didn't just open Xavier, Roll20 and Xavier's character sheet just now. No.
I saw.
I saw nothing.
So Xavier is inquisitive and polite and wholesome. Totally not conflicted at all.
And not a dark wizard.
No, that'd be Conrad. Speaking of Conrad.
Yeah. Callan, tell us a little bit about Conrad and yourself.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I once again will be taking up the mantle of young Mr. Conrad Bentley. As of very recently, taking his first tentative steps into the dark, tapping into some of these strange magics. Very excited to see where things go in his perhaps ill-informed efforts to keep his friends safe. Currently, when last we left him, hanging out with a ghost, reading books. That'll be good.
Yep.
You can find me here every week or on Twitter at my little name. Delighted to be here as always.
Fantastic. And I am Raven. I'll be the game master for the evening. So I do all sorts of stuff. You can find me on Twitter at the Raven, right below my face here, as well as here every day except Thursday and Sunday. Yeah, that's pretty much me. I do a lot of different stuff. But I mentioned viewer actions and how that you can get involved. So, number of ways that you can do that. Easiest way is by interacting with the tweet of the game. You can do that through comments, likes, and retweets, and for every 5 interactions we get, a D4 goes to the cast and the DM. There's also a number of things that you can do with guild coins, which is our Twitch channel points. You can find those below the Twitch chat box. It looks like a little round rainbow colored token. Click on that, and there's a lot of different things that you can use those on, including some pretty funny ones. If you'd like to support the channel monetarily, you can do so through any one of the things below my face here. So they're most of them are pretty self-explanatory, but some of them that might not be. is the switch. It allows somebody to tell another player, hey, you have to switch your action word. So, for example, if I said, Tenebrae throws a barrel of lobsters at somebody, if the cast has a switch, then they can pull that out and say, Tenebrae does something else with a barrel of lobsters. And I have to change that action word to something that's not a direct synonym. So it can be pretty funny. Yeah. Borrowed success is an auto success for the player. However, I will roll a d20 on every skill roll or any other roll that they make after that. And if the d20 lands on 15, then they lose that success. So it's a bit of a gamble. If they make it through the entire session without it landing on 15, then they got a free success. If not, they lose one later, which could be horrible or could be as simple as, oh, I was just checking to see if my shoes were tied. Something like that. So it's an interesting one. Complication allows you to throw anything that you would like into the game at all. You basically get to kind of be the GM for a quick second there. And then I think that's it. Oh, the swap 2 players for 5 minutes. That can be anyone, including myself. You can make 2 players swap roles for 5 minutes. So that one's pretty fun to do also.
Yeah,
you can do
we've
all
got
of that.
this game.
We'll see. You can do all of that through coffee.com/Raven or raven.rocks. Those are at the bottom of the chart there. Also through subscriptions and bits. Those all count towards it as well. And then last but not least, if you are a patron, Bard tier or higher, you get credits towards that every month that you can spend in the games. Just throw it into chat. Let me know that you're a patron, and I'll be able to set that up for you. So I think that's everything out of the way for business stuff. Let's jump into the story. So when we left off, Conrad, you had encountered the dark, shadowy thing, which pretty much left you alone.
Seemed very well behaved.
Yeah, Nira, you were up on the roof, looking for stars and checking it with the star chart that you received from your
So cute.
marine patron.
Unsuccessfully,
Yeah,
but I get some library code for a book.
yes, you did.
Library Gold.
Code. Billy, you were doing the dance with the other fish thing, the fish that was sort of dancing through the air with your new keyblade type thing. And that was maintaining the light dome on the library, keeping you all safe from shadowy creatures that might be trying to get in. And then Xavier, you were sleeping.
Yes.
Let's start back with Conrad. So I'm trying to recall exactly what happened. The shadowy creature pretty much left you alone, and then you were looking around. I can't remember if we actually said that you found anything last week or not.
So yes, the Conrad went down there to because he'd heard from I want to say Virgil, but that's Dante's Inferno. What's the Dewey?
Dewey.
Yes. Yes, Dewey sort of let slip that there were several references to Tenebrae in some of the books down here. And for fear that either the party might not be safe down there or that the information stored within might be sort of perilous to them, Conrad took it upon himself to go down there and assess it himself. Was approached by the creature, who is sort of this like ball of dark shadow with the dim purple eyes, I think. Something like that, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Made a joke that it looked like the Pokemon Ghastly. So that's just sort of what I've got up here.
Kind of, yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, awesome. Easy. It seemed to either, as Conrad sort of said, I might share the same mark as you, either not find me a threat or perhaps not even be able to see me at all. Either way is fairly sad for Conrad, but he set about for a few hours, as long as he thought he could get away with, looking through these books, trying to find some of those references, trying to learn what he could, or just find the choicest books and take them with him out.
Okay. In that case, go ahead and give me a sight roll as you
Me?
try to hunt for a book. Yeah.
With my dice and my luck?
Well, you can use roll 20 to roll if you'd prefer.
Still
Or
spiritual.
you can have me roll. I can knowledge roll for you.
I believe in you, Conrad. You can do it.
Well,
An 18, not terrible.
well,
Not terrible. And you were specifically looking for something that mentions Tanabe, right?
yes, yeah. That's I mean, like, if something catches sort of my eye, I will stop and have a look. But Tenebrae is definitely the history, what used to be here, trying to work out why this happened in the hopes that it might be useful to fix this.
Sure. So you do find a book, which, from what you can tell from the outside of it, it's a physical book, which is, of course, rare in this library, being very futuristic and technological and whatnot. So you do find a physical book that has references to how the Sentinels were formed, which might mention something. It's pretty big, but it's not so big that you couldn't take it with you.
Yeah, okay, that sounds like the kind of one that I'd be comfortable bringing back up with the gang. So that's kind of the way Conrad's thinking about it. Is like anything that he could just sort of take back out to everyone. Once he thinks that that's the case, just puts it under his elbow and then sort of keeps going. Specifically trying to make the most of his time here. Yeah.
Okay. So you grab that one, and you're also able to keep looking around a little bit longer if you'd like. You're not too much at risk of, somebody else discovering that you're missing or wondering, what's going on.
Sure.
So you could look around again.
Yeah. I'll push my luck.
Okay. Go ahead and roll sight again.
Okay. All right. Okay. 1 million.
That's an instant roll.
That's a pretty
The
good roll.
smoke coming out of my computer.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So with a 30, as you're looking around, you find one very old looking book. It's in a sort of a glass type case, sort of in a protective covering. The book looks a little bit delicate, not like it's going to fall apart if you sneeze on it, but definitely less new looking or less sturdy looking than the book that you just found.
Right.
And you can tell just by kind of reading the first page that's sort of open in this case that it has to deal with basically what started the whole Sentinel thing. So you've got a book that talks about how they were started, but this one seems to delve more into what led up to them being started.
Perfection. Beautiful.
So sort of volume 1 and volume 2 for the questions that you're asking, basically.
Delightful.
It has a heavy glass case, and it looks like it's not designed to open just by lifting it. You can inspect it a little bit more, see if there's a way to, a mechanism or something that you have to do, or...
Yep, I'll have a look.
Okay. Go ahead and roll mechanical engineering.
See, this is my comfort zone right here. Grimtown.
28, nice. So as you feel around, you can tell that there is a wire coming out of one side of this display case. It seems to go down into the floor, but you can see that it's attached to some sort of plate on the inside. So it's either a pressure plate or some sort of sensor. You're not 100% sure if the alarm will go off or not if you break this thing. But you also find a keypad on the same display, and it's functioning, and it looks like there's some sort of electronic lock. So perhaps if you figured out how to disable that, you could get the book without setting off an alarm. Or you could try to just take it, break the case or something like that, and this place is so old and the power wasn't on universally, so maybe it won't go off at all.
We just got Dewey sort of situated comfortably. I don't want to wreck shop as soon as we get here. I might be a dark wizard, but I still want to be a good guest. I'll turn around to the shadow that's down here, and kind of just sort of raising a hand and lowering my head, trying to call out to it with whatever connection we share, and just say, I'm not sure if I completely understand how this works, but I think you used to live here or work here, did you not?
And you're talking to the shadow creature, is that right?
To the Pokemon.
Pokemon, okay. So it does seem to hear you, and it just sort of comes over to where you are with a low noise, and it doesn't really say anything. It's, if you could call it a facial expression doesn't really change.
Sure.
The eyes seem to look slightly dimmer, but other than that, you don't really see any perceivable indication of what it's trying to express. But still, as you look at it, you can't help but feel like it's just really sad.
I'm just gonna say, I can't imagine what you're going through or what has led up to today in your life, but I'd like to help you very much, and I think the best way for me to do that right now is if I can get this book. I don't know how much of your life you remember, but if your fingers ever traced upon these buttons, and if there's any way you think you can let me know the code to this, I would be in your debt.
Okay.
And if I need to use magic to try and do this, if this is just me speaking with a ball of gas.
I'm actually gonna have you roll empathy.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, of all the skills. Oh no.
Oh
Oh, oh folks.
See,
For those at
Yeah.
home, that's not just a 1. That's a
No.
negative 1.
No, that's an
Yeah.
advanced one.
yeah,
That's a thinking man's crit fail.
that's a negative nat 1. Holy crap. So basically, you're trying to empathize and be like, I'm so sorry that what's happened to you, and could you please help, and all this stuff. And how it comes across is like, hey, I know you're a gas ball and you've been stuck here for centuries, but could you pull it together and help me out here?
Yeah, come on.
And it just looks more sad. And again, visibly not much really changes, but you just have this sense of like, if it could cry, it would be sobbing right now because you've just
Oh.
insulted it.
Oh dear. Oh, I've put my foot in it. I'm so sorry. You've been through a lot. Bless your heart. You find some rest. I'm sorry. I'll see myself out. And I'll.
It just sort of slowly and sadly floats over to the corner and just like puts its face in the corner and stays
Oh.
there.
Oh no. Oh. All right. Okay. I'll leave. Conrad's not sort of from the American South, so I think bless your heart maybe meant with more earnest. Yeah. I realized as I said it that for those across the pond that means something very different.
I figured that's what you meant. I grew up in the South though, so I was very much laughing internally at that.
Yeah, I'm just dunking on this ghost some more. I'm going to sneak out of the basement and try and find Nira.
Okay. I imagine by the time that you get done with all of that, Nira, I think this is probably about the time that you were finished looking at the star charts and the stars.
Yeah, I would assume that would take me similar amount of time. Yeah.
Okay. Do you go back down after that, or do you hang out on the roof for a while?
No, my intention was to get back to sleep.
Okay.
Just like that.
Do we
I've done my business and I'm going back. Maybe first check on Billy.
Okay.
How is he doing?
I'll say that you both, you don't run into each other, but you kind of cross each other's path on the stairwell. Conrad, you coming up, and Nira, you coming down. So you notice each other.
Can
Hello,
sleep?
Nira. Yes, I had some troubles. What's on the roof?
Roof?
You came down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, I wanted to check if. Well, two things. I wanted to take a breath of fresh air. And I wanted to take a look from the roof down how the streets are looking. How is the things Billy is protecting us from? Are there a lot of them?
The forces
or
of
not?
darkness. Right.
Yeah, the shadow creatures.
Are they numerous?
There is several of them. I kind of expected like a, I don't know, faceless crowd, a wave of shadows. Now there are just several of them. That doesn't look so bad.
Just several. Nothing we can't handle. Excellent.
I'm going back to sleep. I just need to check on Billy.
Yes. Nira.
Yes?
It still kind of hurts a little.
What?
No, sorry, just sort of several internal battles. Dinner not sitting so well.
Xavier,
I need your help.
With your stomach?
In a manner of speaking, yes. I appreciate your concern for my sort of intestinal well-being. No,
just cough it up.
So you know when last we faced those shadow creatures more formally, in the battle where one was banished.
Yes.
You of course remember. Yes. Well, when we were attempting to track down the creature, there was a kind of connection that I drew with it, such that we could find it and such that we could send it away. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I during my sleeping had some perilous dreams.
Is it following us here up?
No, I don't believe so. I think its kin are up here, certainly. But
Oh yeah. I saw them.
I sensed some presence around us.
Yeah, I saw them.
Yes, not outside though.
Oh,
inside.
they got inside?
It's okay. Everything's all right. there is a spirit
Hello there.
of some sort just down these stairs. Which I sort of felt more than I saw. I believe it is not too dangerous. I'm sure it's nothing you and I couldn't handle. But I couldn't help but noticing while I was down there. It was sort of, I believe I sleepwalked at some of the distance. But while I was down there, I noticed a book, a tome that may be of some great value. And your skill
Book?
set.
Book, you say?
It's Xavier's having a dream.
I was gonna say, did Xavier wake up?
Xavier would wake up if he heard the word book.
Oh, is this like
Especially if you said tome.
if there's like a dog in the house, you can't say the word walk. Like, I'm talking near. I'm like, I found a BOOK downstairs.
That's kind of scary. Because, let me repeat if I get it right. You sleep... There is a shadow in downstairs.
Uh-huh.
You sleepwalked into?
Towards. Yes.
Was it... but maybe it wasn't sleepwalking, maybe it was controlling you.
I don't think so. I think I was
I haven't seen you sleepwalking before.
Well, normally we're all quite well rested. I think it's some of the fatigue of all of this. But the no, I'm still getting to used to these abilities that sort of we're all coming to understand. If you would wouldn't mind terribly joining me down in the basement.
Sure, we can take it down, I bet.
Well, I don't suppose that it will pose much of a threat, but more importantly, your particular skill set and how you interact with things that don't necessarily belong to you, I think may come in handy in retrieving this book. It may be in this BOOK. It may be something of some great value.
It's library. Everything is here for our use, I think.
Exactly.
I want to see this tome you're talking about.
I was gonna say for Xavier, if you would like, I'd say you could probably be stirring by this point. Maybe you heard the echo of book or tome. Yeah.
I would say that Conrad, because obviously there's like some elements of subterfuge here, would be trying to keep quiet. That I would absolutely be open to like if there's like a roll or something to see if Xavier notices. This is definitely something he'd be interested in.
Yeah. I was gonna say let's just do gut feeling for this, since you're probably half asleep at least, if not more so.
Okay, that is a 13 plus 2 is 15.
So I'd say maybe you were having a dream about some books, and
safe bet.
and you happen to wake up and notice that Nira and Conrad are not next to you. So no knowledge of the conversation that Conrad and Nira had just had, but it would not be unreasonable for you to go looking for them.
Yeah, Xavier walks up on them. What are y'all talking about?
Oh, good morning, Xavier. You're up perilously late?
I just woke up.
Yes, so it would seem. We were just chatting. There's a book downstairs in the basement. It's actually now that I'm sort of putting two and two together, it may be one of the ones that Dewey was referring to. What a world!
Ooh.
Who would have thought? So
I'm
perhaps
just saying, yes, I'm going. Xavier's walking in that direction.
well, it may be a tiny bit dangerous. So let's see if we can stay together, and let's also try and keep in mind that someone needs to take over for. Was Billy planning on staying up all night doing
Yeah,
the
he
dance?
said so.
Okay.
I suppose.
Looks over at Billy. Is that a sword?
Uh-huh. And Billy's still just lost in the dance, not really paying attention. Just mostly just focus on this dance. Because we said at the last episode, like when I rolled, that Billy is essentially communing with Kira or the fish god with this dance.
Right.
I suppose we are in library. He won't have much work to do during the day. He can sleep it off.
Sure. Yeah, I suppose that if we're planning on staying here for a bit,
I am.
So, are we going to get this shadow and get those books?
yes.
those books?
I think it is worth our time.
That
Okay.
sounds incredibly dangerous. But
It's
there's a
not.
book.
Not
said
quite.
it wasn't.
It's not quite as perilous a creature as some of the other ones that we've encountered. I believe that there's still much that we can learn about the nature of these things, these specters. This one is different. It may still pose some threat, but I believe it is one that we could handle. Let's go in with the hope that diplomacy and sort of kindness will see our way through, and we won't need to level any of our more sort of rowdy capabilities.
Hmm.
So,
This is a quest for knowledge,
Xavier's-
not violence, Xavier.
Xavier's hands start glowing, and Xavier's like, book. Yes.
Book.
okay, but just to be sure, I'm going back for my axe.
Okay.
Billy would have already given you it back. Like, remember when we entered the library, Billy gave you back the...
Yeah. I meant didn't take it with me to the roof. I
Right,
left it
right.
in the camp.
Of course. I suppose if we're making
let's
a
call
proper
it
mission of this.
a camp, for lack of better word. So I'm going back for the axe, and let's take the shadow on. If it's not dangerous, we can leave it be. Was that what we were suggesting? We leave it be?
Yes. Ideally, we may not cross paths with it at all. I'm getting a little tongue tied. I think we'll be fine. We'll be fine. If you feel better with your axe at your side, I wouldn't begrudge you that.
I don't think we need the axe, but if it makes you feel safer.
Certainly, and you feeling safer would make me feel safer.
And it's good for opening things, too.
Sure, certainly.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, so you've got. Sorry, I was dealing with a chat issue, but a little distracted. But we've got Conrad, Xavier, and Nira. Was Billy in on this as well?
No?
Billy's still performing the ritual.
No.
I believe.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just want to double check. So you're all getting ready to go into the basement.
Yes.
Yeah, you're able to head down there, no problem. There's no real issues that really crop up with getting into the room. You all do notice sort of a moment where you go beyond the dome, and you can sort of feel that you're not as protected as you were on the ground floor. But you're at the basement door. Do you open it right away? Who opens it? Who goes first? All that good stuff.
I would be at the front.
Yeah, Conrad's leading the way because he's showing us where is the book he wanted us to get. So
Exactly.
Yes. It's in a little glass display case off to the side, and I believe it may be rigged by some sort of alarm. I thought that with sort of your propensity for opening locked things,
no.
Xavier. Oh, the
No,
creature.
No, I meant it's not like that. We are in a library, and sentinels are allowed to use it. And Helmet says we're okay with it. I don't way.
Your station may be going too ahead a tiny bit there, Nira, but I do agree that yes, in these circumstances, it behooves us to peruse these books, sort of to save the world.
I do.
This is
I do
selfish, selfless.
I do think Nira has a point here, though. If Nira opens it, we can just say Nira's authorized.
Well, I'm not sure that the specter of darkness is particularly fussed about the sort of hierarchy within this library.
You said it might be alarmed?
Yes, but
oh, I understand.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the specter of darkness. I'm talking about the specter of Dewey.
The specter of Dewey, yes.
Yeah.
The severe rules set in place within this library. Let's walk carefully. The two of you do your best to stay behind me until we've ascertained how dangerous this may be. I seem to share some connection with these creatures, more so than you all. I will prepare whatever that same sort of purple light, purple sort of like a glowing bioluminescence that I channeled before as we swing the door open, and I hope that I can sort of shepherd my friends through the same way that I protected myself.
Okay. In that case, roll magic engineering. Also, we've had 12 Twitter interactions so far, so I just popped 2d4 up for the cast and for me. Also, I think it's hilarious that you all seem to be more concerned about the alarm than the alarming ghostly figure in the room. Oh, thanks, Michael and Gwen, for upgrading those d4s.
Oh.
So 23.
23. Does that feel good enough?
Yeah.
Excellent.
So this shadowy creature, you kind of get the sense that it's not an important one. Maybe low on the totem poles, sort of a type thing, or I should say lower down the ladder in terms of importance. Probably not that strong, probably not that aware. So you managed to cover everybody in sort of this. I'm trying to think of how to describe this. If you've ever played like Destiny or Overwatch, you've got like the Titan bubble or the Winston's shield bubble, that type of thing. It's kind of like that, except instead of it being a literal shield, it's more of like a cloak. You're all able to see each other just fine, but this shadow creature doesn't see anybody inside of it.
Awesome.
So
The helmet is okay with everything this so far?
Well, you still have your helmet on passive, so it's not actively scanning everything, so it's quiet. Okay. If you turned it on or asked it to scan, it might freak out a little bit. But since it's just on passive mode, it's fine. And yeah, you're able to move over to the display box with this book. You're still cloaked. What do you do with the box?
I would approach it and try to use the glove the same way as I opened the roof door.
Explain to
Okay.
the pair everything that I was able to ascertain with my profoundly powerful rolls.
And I say, let's say if it's okay for sentinels to use this book.
So as you go up to it, you get the sense that it's not quite the same type of lock that you had at the door. There's no like scanner. It's literally just a keypad. So it does seem to have some sort of numeric code that you have to put in.
I don't think it's the type of the lock that being just a sentinel opens.
Right. Well, thankfully, Nero, you're not just a sentinel. You're also.
No. Let's not go there yet.
You didn't know what I was going to say. I could have been sort of hailing any one of your admirable traits.
maybe. If I was able to make Dewey check on himself, then maybe Dewey can tell me the code.
I believe Dewey is still performing his rounds. Is he not still sort of running his diagnostics?
He is still in diagnostic mode, yeah.
Yes, I suppose we could wait, but the I don't know how sort of reliably I can put up this protective magic. We may have a unique opportunity here.
So, we don't know the code. We can't ask Dewey. We have to move fast, and we need that book.
Yes.
Why we need that book?
It's
That's the-
valuable.
That's the part I missed.
Yes, sorry. The book details a lot of information about the Sentinels, how and why they started, or at least so I could ascertain from this little blurb they've got written on it. It's sort of a.
Raven, where's the keypad on kind of postament?
Yeah, it's like it's on like a pedestal, like a little column, and the top of the column is the glass case. It's
How wide is the column, not the keypad?
Yeah, so the column is maybe half a meter wide.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
well, perhaps between your ability to pop it open or something and
Okay.
All right. Listen, I'm trying to walk you up to it. You offered to help. You understand? It's nothing. It's not a value judgment.
Conrad,
You're
Conrad,
good at some things, Nira.
Conrad, I'm okay with what you think. I'm not okay with you saying that loud.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Helmet doesn't know yet.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, we haven't used any words yet. We still could be talking about your ability to bake. Let's bake delightful pastries, the kind that you've done several times before in our journey.
Okay.
And with none of these same protests, I understand that you're trying to put up a good self-image here, but
there's also a second thing to it. In general, in this profession, we talk less.
Okay, wait,
About
so
things.
the Sentinel profession or the bakery one?
Bakery one.
Okay, I understand. Yes, a degree of subterfuge.
Some things are not mentioned, some things are only known.
Okay.
Some things just happen.
All right, well, I understand. This is new
Nobody
to
does
me.
them, they just happen.
Okay, all right. Well, okay, so what, Xavier and I are supposed to turn around and just sort of twiddle our thumbs, and then...
You already know everything.
No, it's all right. How's the cake coming along, Nira?
You're still talking too much. I need
Okay,
to
all
teach you many things, I see.
Yes. Yeah, listen, I'm a good student. I can only hope.
While they're arguing, can Xavier just make the glass case levitate?
I
Magic?
expect something like this to happen any moment.
You can certainly try it, though I'm pretty sure you did hear them talking about how there might be a pressure plate on there that could potentially trigger an alarm. So
Yeah, but levitating the glass case would not trigger the pressure.
Exactly.
It's
Pressure
the-
goes on. Pressure. It can't go below 0 if it's set for 0. So maybe
Exactly.
it won't go off.
Is the
okay,
pressure
let
plate-
me explain it a little bit better because I think maybe there was a misunderstanding on it. So there's a heavy glass top to this display case that is sitting on the plate. So the indication being that if you were to remove that weight, it would
okay.
trigger
It
the
was
plate.
it was not the pressure plate for us to step on. Okay, indeed, I got it right.
Gotcha.
Oh.
The glass is on the pressure
Yes.
plate.
Yes,
Indiana
sorry.
Jones
I-
kind of trap.
So were we to
we
just
have-
lift it, it would go off.
Yes.
But we have Nira. So we're going to be fine.
So sorry,
well,
I didn't.
Xavier will just lift it. Xavier will
describe
just
that
lift
quick.
it.
Good. I
Kinda.
wouldn't be so sure if you are
No.
alright because I was asking how wide is the column with the clear intent just to cut it with one single stroke of axe. So
There's- listen, I'm excited for how this is going to play out. As far as I see it, from the outside
Yeah.
looking in, we've got sort of three angles of approach. Is we can either try and find some way technologically to either bypass or use this code. We can either try and with our baking tools, do our best to stop this alarm from going off and retrieve the pastry. The analogy I'm starting to lose track of. Or we can just, as we normally do, use magic and sort of throw our hands in the air and put our faith and power in forces beyond our control.
I am
and likely
not.
set off an alarm.
I am not worried about the alarm at all. We have Nira.
just to be clear, we usually there's also fourth way when we just smash the glass and don't care about alarm going off.
Right, but Billy's upstairs, so
Yeah, and Xavier's not very strong.
And I
It's
love,
Xavier's gonna use magic.
I
It's
love
glass.
the fact
It's
that
glass. I
no
think we
one,
will manage.
Okay.
no
Before-
one's thinking to ask Twain.
No,
Before anybody
I was
takes
just
any
going to-
actions, Nira, roll gut feeling.
I have an idea how to deal with it, and
Yeah,
I'm not.
this is,
I have not presented my plan for how should to proceed. But okay.
this never bodes well.
I'm curious if Nira might make a connection here.
But
I got that 20.
25.
right.
So, Nira, you do recall that you did just recently get a code. It was.
Oh, I thought it was a library index
It
number for
is.
the book.
But you do just have the little sort of feeling like, huh, maybe it's more than one for more than one thing.
Maybe. Okay. So,
You sort of get a hunch that maybe you should just try it.
there's this thing. Electronics and this kind of thingamajigs with displays are your thing, Conrad, right?
I mean, the electronics a little bit less. Sure.
So, if we press wrong button on this keypad, it will not go off instantly. I mean, we can make some errors, I think, right?
You normally get a few sort of stinkers before
So
it starts to protest.
if I were to try one thing and it would be wrong code, then maybe we can still just proceed with other ways
I sort of
without-
look over.
without initiating alarm.
Yeah,
because The helmet has one number in its head, in my head. Well, wait, my head is inside. It has no head. on its own.
Does the helmet have a head?
No,
Is that?
No. Code.
Okay. Yes.
Okay,
Right.
so
One thing at a time.
you think it's safe for me to try one number?
Xavier has this sort of glowing light coming from their hands. I think sort of he will let you give it one go before he sort of tries to lift the building or something.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
Uh,
Xavier, you're hearing this go on. You're ready to do the magic, but you also know that Nira might have a code that might just open it. So what do you do? Do you wait Do you act or do you just dismiss the magic altogether?
Xavier's waiting.
Okay.
Okay, so I have the time to enter it. I go
The
and
one,
click, click,
the
click,
one
click,
code.
click, click.
Code
Give it
doesn't
one
work.
crack.
Yep.
As you put the code in, it does a little beep, and it accepts the code, and it disengages the mechanism holding down the glass top. It doesn't say alarm turned off, but the indication is clear that you can now access it.
Oh.
And the entire talk was not
See,
necessary.
I said we have Nira. This will be fine.
Nira, your skills as a baker are improving with such severity. You just walked up to this machine and intuited the numbers that must be
No.
pressed.
It's helmet thingy.
Right, but it's your head in the helmet.
Yes, but I
Anyway.
think it doesn't matter if the helmet knows. Oh, do you mean it matters if I'm a sentinel candidate? Wait, it matters.
It
I'm a
matters a little.
sentinel candidate, yeah. Okay, so let's just say it was my head.
Yes.
That mattered.
Excellent work. Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's
Okay.
lift it.
You're able to lift the glass off with no real issues, and you can get the book. You again can feel that this book is somewhat fragile. You should probably treat it with care, but it's not going to disintegrate just for reading it or carrying it.
I'm going to use
Xavier.
magic to open the book.
Let me say it looks very flammable. Let's keep it away from Billy.
Xavier, I think I would trust you most with a sort of precious tome like this. I know that you've handled some delicate ones in the past.
Yeah, Xavier just uses magic to pick up the book and delicately open it.
Well, you see, if you'd say, Xavier, here's the thing: if you just said I pick it up, I don't think God would have made you roll for it. But now,
I've already
I
rolled
have
for
some
it.
bad feeling about this.
Perceptive
already
as
rolled.
always, Conrad.
Well,
I've
is
already
it God
rolled
or
for it,
something more
though.
powerful?
Xavier, which magic are you going to use first off? Light or dark?
The dark magic, of course. 'Cause
Okay.
It's a dark tome.
I mean, it's just a history book, really, but
the darkest.
I'm sure to Xavier it's a dark tome. So roll magic engineering.
I am. Oh well, I'll roll again. Oh, that's a 12 plus 11, which would be 23.
Okay, good. It was like 12. Ooh, 23. That's better. You managed to lift this fragile book with your magic. It's levitating in the air.
Well,
and it's and I'm reading it.
we can probably take it out of the sort of spooky basement. Let's make our way back up. I don't know how much longer I can sort of hold this this warding spell.
Can I levitate it all the way back up?
Sure. If you
Yay.
leave now, yes. If
Yes.
you hang out for a little bit longer, then Conrad's gonna have to make another magic check.
No, it's fine. Let's go. Let's go.
Do we leave this dude out there? It's not. It's gonna stay there, Conrad.
Sorry. How do you mean?
Do we leave this shadow dude there?
Oh, yeah. I don't believe that it can leave the basement once we close the door.
Ah, right.
I suppose the two of my compatriots have seen this creature now in the corner.
Yeah,
Have I?
it's fairly visible. It's off in the corner. It hasn't moved. Conrad, it's now sort of like rocking back and forth as best as a gas ball can.
It's fine. I wonder what's wrong with it. Oh, it seems different, to be honest.
Seems to be crying?
No, I don't. It's there's a lot we don't understand about these things, Xavier.
It really looks like it's crying.
No, I think it's all right.
So you have a book. I can go back to sleep. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Okay.
yeah. Just levitating the book in front of him.
Yeah.
With his dark
And-
right hand.
As we get at the door, just I'm sorry.
All right. You get the books back up to the lobby.
I love Xavier being extra with the book.
So extra.
Wait. One thing. So, Xavier is levitating the book.
Uh-huh.
What does Conrad have with him?
Oh, I suppose I have like 2 other books under my arms as well.
Something in the pockets?
In my pockets?
Yes, for example.
I suppose I would have some things. I would have my weird butterfly knife.
What does
Okay,
it have in
will
its
do.
pockets is...
Will do. So I'm trying to lift. I'm going behind Conrad. I'm trying to lift the knife out of his pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do a blend-in roll and a nimbleness roll.
Going full golem on this one.
That's blending. I sense
Okay.
there's a need of other dice here.
Go for it.
So yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and roll nimbleness.
And nimbleness.
So it's 2
Yes!
separate parts. Okay.
That worked.
Did
So
Conrad say yes to this?
I wasn't asking.
No,
yeah.
And
So
you are not there yet.
Conrad, you see Nira sort of approaching you, looking like she's trying to be nonchalant. It's not the best act of being nonchalant.
Sure.
But that's all you notice.
Okay.
Nira, you're not very good at sneaking up on Conrad, but you are able to pull the knife out of his pocket without him noticing.
Yeah, sort of shouldering my books over and put an arm around Nira's shoulder. Do you? Is everything all right? I understand if that was maybe harrowing for you, that spirit down there.
No, I just wanted to explain you something.
Okay.
Ta-da!
It gave you a knife as well?
No, it's your
How
knife.
to like?
I wasn't talking about doing this. I just did it. That's how it works.
But now you're talking about doing it.
No,
So-
because I'm teaching you that first you do things and then you talk about, not the other way around. And even better, you don't talk about them at all. That's about baking. That's how baking works.
You don't talk about it.
Yes, you
You
just
don't
bake
talk
stuff.
about the baking. Okay. All right.
Just bake stuff. Here, have it back.
All right. Thank you. There's I certainly have a lot to learn. In these strange times. I will do my best to learn from your example, Nira.
No,
Um,
actually, don't learn. I'm just trying to. If we need to not talk about this, then let's not talk about this. When we
Okay,
need to not talk about this.
What are we
Right?
baking, by the way?
I'm still not exactly sure. I'm really bad at not talking, Nira. If that's something I'm sure you understand.
Yeah.
By this point, but I will do my very best.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. We're gonna hop over to Billy. So Billy, you've been doing this whole dance thing with this fish for quite a while now. But you're doing it so well that you actually feel like you're getting rest through doing so. Is there anything else you want to do over the course of the evening, or is there any point at which you stop and do something else?
The only alteration is that M5 would be active and maybe analyzing
Okay.
what is happening. But roughly Billy themselves are just roughly in the dance of maintaining the sigil. And if like M5 says anything, talking while maintaining focus on the dance.
Okay.
And
So
probably doing this until like daylight or the sun starts to rise, when it would be safe enough to stop doing that.
gotcha. So yeah, when you turn on M5, the helmet comes on and it says, "Hello, Sentinel Billy. How may I be of assistance?"
Uh, just observe. You can learn more than me.
I do have a large amount of storage, memory storage.
There's more here that's happening than I understand. This dance and this fish, it doesn't make much sense, but in the same sense, it makes the perfect sense.
I see, Sentinel Billy. That's all it says in response to that.
Then I'm
How can I be of
wagering-
assistance?
Just observe and I don't know. I'm more focused on the stance here, but there's more here than I'm understanding. Because this fish of the stars is dancing with me as the sword dances along with me. And we're dancing together in a light that's creating a barrier. Which, by all minds, that doesn't make sense, but it feels right. It's helping fight back the darkness, the shadows. I don't understand why, but it feel like I need to know more, but I
Understood.
don't understand it enough.
Scanning.
Maybe it's just a feeling. This fish feels right.
Scanning. Light magic use detected. Agent of light detected. Power source detected. Looking up volumes on dances. Please specify type of dance.
Well, it's almost like a butterfly tail fish as Billy is swirling, and I know it's at least in the Discord on the Lightbringer thing, the clip, but it was of this almost like a ballet dance with this like claymore kind of sword that seems to be dancing with the hands. I'm imagining Billy is with this like keyblade with has markings of the fish god, stars, and Kira all kind of like blended, and Billy hasn't even noticed that the sword has changed from like a hook into this kind of like keyblade. Just is very lost in the movement.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. The helmet M5 just kind of goes refining search, and then it pulls up like a couple of different articles on different types of fish on one side of your heads-up display, and then dance steps for fish-related dances on the left side of your screen. Sort of like when you ask Google a complicated question and it does a web search for the results, doesn't really give you the answer. So you kind of get the sense that maybe M5 didn't quite process your question the way that you had intended. But you do get some information, and there is an overlay on your heads-up display of where there's a power source where you could charge your armor, as well as a highlight of the fish that's swimming around, and it identifies it as an agent of light, which is a term that you've not heard used before.
What agent of light? What's that about? Is it related to Kira?
Agent of light, a non-sentinel light-using entity, which displays light magic or this is Raven struggling for words here, not M5. That uses light magic or displays intent to assist sentinels.
Okay. It's almost as if the stars that guide.
Stars that guide. Is Sentinel Billy interested in navigation via stars?
Maybe. I don't know. Like, I feel like I need to maintain the stance until sun up, but maybe like you can tell me more when the sun rises.
Very well. Setting alarm to remind Billy about astral navigation at 7:15 a.m. That's all it says.
Then Billy will just continue dancing with the fish.
Okay. We'll hop back over to everybody else then. So you've come back to the lobby, and Conrad, I presume you've turned off your darkness spell before you got
Yes.
upstairs. Okay.
Yeah, when we close the door.
Which reminds me, actually, Xavier, if you're levitating that all the way up to the top floor, you're going to run into some issues when you go back through the light barrier.
It's the dark spell.
It doesn't cause any ill effects, but the book won't go through while you're holding it with dark magic.
Xavier just
Well, we could delicately carry it instead of maybe ramming the fragile book against a barrier, perhaps.
and Xavier just tossed, like not tosses it, just like picks it up with his left hand and uses light. Just levitates it with light instead of darkness. Just switch hands.
Okay.
That's an 11 plus 11, which would be 22.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, you're able to switch hands and get it through the barrier.
Tempting fate once more.
This book that has all the answers that you've so desperately been seeking, and you're just basically tossing it around.
Not toss, just switch hands.
Okay.
Still reading. Still being extra. Then sets it down once he gets to his.
Yeah, Xavier, you get this sense. You can't explain it, but these words pass through your mind. The universe will remember this. Just pops in your head for some reason.
Just puts it down on his pillow, and
All right. So you have the books.
keeps delicately reading it.
Which book do you start with? Obviously, Xavier is starting with volume 1 here. Do you all read that together? Or do you divide and conquer? Somebody reads the second one, you read the first one?
So I had a couple other bits, at least one other book that I brought up from downstairs. I guess I would try to be as efficient about this as possible. So spending my time wherever it would be most useful.
Okay. That makes sense then. So sort of a divide and conquer. So I'll start with what Xavier's getting from that book, and then we'll switch over to what Conrad's getting.
Yeah, would be very sort of like every now and then just sort of.
In order of
How's it going?
keeping chronology,
Yeah.
may I
Yeah.
do something?
We'll just get the good
Sure.
stuff out of the way, and then Xavier gets his come up.
I suppose reading would take them some time. I just want to check on Billy and go back to sleep.
Okay.
So that would come first in the sense.
Gotcha. So, yeah, is there anything you say to Billy before?
Oh, so
Going to
Billy,
sleep.
how you doing?
Good. Maintaining. Billy says is dancing with a sword.
Okay, so you do you want some help? I don't know.
The fish has been helping. As Billy has that keyblade swinging around, dancing in sync with the fish that seems to be swimming through the air.
Okay. It looks like you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
And I suppose I'm going back to the camp.
Okay. All right. We'll hop back over
go
then.
to sleep
Gotcha.
in order to be alert at day.
Gotcha. Okay. We'll hop back over then. So, Xavier, your book, as you're reading through, the book details sort of why the Sentinels were created in the first place. You get the idea that that maybe this book isn't something that's widely taught. Maybe it's considered more of a myth or a legend rather than actual history. But as you're reading through, it details how the Sentinels came to need to be a thing. So back when humans were first settling on Kara, they didn't have a name for the planet yet. The Katarans and the Arcarians hadn't really shown up yet. Humans basically found it as a new planet to colonize because they were expanding out from Earth. So it does actually mention Earth, and it does give you spatial coordinates to where Earth is. And it sort of describes this sort of golden age of humanity and how they came to settle the planet, which was sort of like a new Garden of Eden is what they reference, though Xavier has no idea what that particular reference is.
What's a garden?
But the sense that you get is that the planet was a paradise by comparison to Earth.
They don't know what a garden is. They've just gotten food from a garden to cook.
Yes, but probably would have no concept of the Garden of Eden being a sort of
Exactly.
ideal paradise type situation.
But a garden, yes. Garden of Eden, no.
Yeah. But you get the sense that it was a paradise. And then it goes on to talk about how there were seismic events and weird weather things happened. And that's when Kara showed up. So, sorry, this was after. You kind of have to skip through some chapters to get to this next bit. So the Arcarians show up, the Katarans show up. They all form, the three races form this sort of federation, if you will, to use a Star Trek term, and kind of become one culture and society. And then after that is when Kara shows up, and that's how the planet and the capital city got its name. So Kara showed up, there were seismic events, weird weather stuff happening. Kara didn't show up as a person, just as sort of a light energy. And it was clear, even for those who didn't have any sort of magic or anything like that, to see that there was a dark force and a light force that were struggling.
Wait. If I'm following this correctly, so the magic powers and the light came before Kara, and the Sentinels came before Kara. Kara just enhances that?
No. So, the Kara... What came before Kara showed up was the Katarans and the Arcarians. So all three races formed before all of this started. So you basically had this sort of paradise-type planet where the humans had colonized, then condensing several chapters in the book, the humans met the other two races. They formed an alliance or federation, if you will, and became one big society, sort of all working together for mutual benefit. Then, at some time after that, there was a light force and a dark force that showed up on the planet, not necessarily as people, but just evidence was seen of these two forces working against each other, and it caused things like seismic events, weather changes. It made the planet kind of scary to live on. And then, again, skimming through, sort of having to read between the lines in certain areas, you finally come across some references to the goddess Kara, who requested help from the residents of the planet to end all of this chaos. And it does mention the Dark One being Tenebrae, but that's pretty much the only reference to him that's in here. It's just that it was a dark force, that Tenebrae is the name of it, and it was causing all of these problems. And that's pretty much where your book ends.
So what you're saying is the cause of all of our problems is Tenebra and Kara. So if they are both gone, there'd be no problems.
That's one way you could look at it. There'd also be no magic.
Yeah, but who needs magic?
Apparently Xavier. So that's about where your book ends.
To carry
Xavier.
books and such.
Conrad, your book picks up kind of where that one leaves off. It's not written by the same person or anything, but it's talking about sort of the time period right after that one ends. So Kara, the goddess, asks for the people's help to fight off this chaos, which is viewed by all of the people, so all of the mortals, we'll call them, because they're not all humans, but all of the mortals on the planet viewed it as this just force of chaos, sort of a force of nature, if you will, just in a sort of supernatural way. So they didn't really see it as evil as such, or intelligent even, just that it was this chaotic force that they needed to drive off so that their planet wouldn't be in such chaos and having natural disaster type stuff happening. So it explains how Kara picked the best of the mortals and bestowed them power, making them sentinels. And then there was a battle between Kara and her sentinels and this dark force. It doesn't really give any details on the enemy or how exactly they drove off the darkness, just that happened. And that's when the Golden Age started. And they all made big advancements into technology. Light magic was used to sort of accelerate the evolution of the society and of the people.
Right.
And that's how they started. Yes, the battle of Keira Knightley and Tom Brady.
Tale as old as time. Interesting. Does it make any mention of this this hub that we know about? This the sort of tower, this base of operations that we were was sort of marked on our map as perhaps the place of importance?
No, it doesn't mention like a Sentinel headquarters or anything like that, but it does mention that Echo City seemed to be the sort of the seat of Kara's power. So kind of like Kara lived in Echo City.
Gotcha.
Give me a education check to see if you can put 2 and 2 together on something. Xavier can help as well.
Xavier's absolutely going to.
Conrad, pretty good at education at the start of the game. Since then, he's put a lot of his points into magic. So his book awareness has fallen by the wayside some.
Okay.
I have learned. I'm going to reroll that.
Yes, we have to take the second roll.
Yes.
Yeah, I
I'm
got
also
a
going.
19 plus 9 is 28.
With my
Okay.
hubris, I have earned a 13.
You're having sort of that like, oh wait, it was, I know this. What was it? And Xavier's able to fill in
Right.
those blanks for you. So you put 2 and 2 together. That there was a thing that I was gonna say, and then my brain just went blank.
We're talking about the hub.
The hub and Echo City, and so Echo City being basically where Kara lived, and you're able to put 2 and 2 together that the Echo City Cathedral, or chapel as it's sometimes referred to, was built on that site.
Right.
So the
Yes.
indication is that Kara used to be like actually live among the people and communicate with them directly.
Fascinating. Fascinating. Are we all? We said we were sort of all setting up in the common room, which would be where Billy was doing sort of their like performance. So are we all sort of within earshot of each other to kind of do like a recap?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have to like raise your voice to talk over to Billy and Mira.
Sure.
That scared me. Thank you, Agent Chaos Boss, for that resub.
Hey,
And for startling me with that resub notification.
Les,
That was
pleasant surprise.
amazing. It was a fantastic surprise. Thank you very much. Of course, I was going to say welcome to the family, but that's for new subs. Thanks for being a part of the family. So you've got $5 there. You can do an advantage, or you can do a switch and a D6, or 2 D6s if you wanted to go that route. However, whatever you'd like to do, we'll throw that up on the counters.
Just make sure it goes to the forces of good.
Or evil.
Good and evil
Oh,
are
it's
just
evil.
concepts.
Yes, well,
They're just-
while we're
they're just
subscribing to them.
concepts.
You want to give a
Xavier
permanent
does not
magic
subscribe
item.
to this. Xavier does not subscribe to those concepts.
Normally I would say no, but this being you and you've spent like all of your guild coins on this show and it's been amazing. Yes, I will allow it. What is the permanent magic item that you want to give? And we'll do that instead of an advantage.
How close are we to daylight?
It's getting pretty close. Conrad and I guess mostly Conrad at this point, because Xavier, you've already had some sleep. You'll have some time to take a rest once you've discussed everything, and then basically we'll kind of fast forward to today.
Excellent.
Once we're at that
Excellent.
point. So I want to give Billy's sword the ability to summon the fish with the dance. Fantastic. Absolutely. So Billy, your sword is now that Keyblade still, but it has the ability to summon the fish.
Oh, nice. Now, I imagine this is very much if you get Finding Nemo in Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I could see that. Yeah. So Conrad, Xavier, I assume you relay all of this information, this history that you found with everyone else.
Yeah, Xavier does
Thank-
SparkNet's version.
You need to wake me.
Nira.
Mm,
Look, she's running. Her little legs are twitching. Oh, so sweet. Nira, good
No.
morning.
mm,
Hello. No, I know,
Yeah.
I understand.
Okay, what?
Hello, sorry. We were about to sort of depart for some rest, but we thought while it was fresh in our heads, we would just sort of do a recap of everything we found here, because it's relevant to you and your interests.
If it's important, you won't forget it.
Well, it's important that you know it as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Xavier writes all the important details down. You can read it
Right.
later if you want to sleep now.
Well, I suppose the sort of
No. Okay. Tell me. So I
the
don't
most
so I
most
don't need to do the
transformative.
reading.
Right, exactly. We do the heavy lifting. The most sort of transformative revelation, I think, is that I mean, I guess all of us are, but sort of perhaps you a tiny bit more recently. We're aliens. We're aliens. We're aliens.
Oh
We're
yeah.
from outer space.
But also, everyone. Well, I mean, the humans were here before the Katarans or the Arcarians. So
But even before that, we were aliens.
yes,
Billy and I are aliens, and you're an alien, and you're an alien. We were from the not-nots.
but
we were-
also the most salient detail I think is that chaos came when Kara came, which
Well,
happened at the same time as Tenebrae came.
There is some liberal interpretation going on there. From my understanding, it was that Kara found herself assailed by these forces of chaos and enlisted the first Sentinels to help her maintain some sort of order.
I'm just saying it seems that chaos came when Kara came. So Kara was running. It just seems like they're both the problem to me.
It is leading more towards some idea of this balance being important. Yes.
When the brother came, so did the sister. Both bring a bit of light and a bit of darkness, I would think.
Did they come at the same time, Raven, or was it one then the other?
They did come at the same time, and it's not spelled out, but the implication is that Kara basically enlisted the help of the population, with the not necessarily the promise, but at least the implication that if they did help her, that she would help them achieve that sort of golden age of society.
Right.
And,
Although it did,
and Xavier's interpretation is that they're both the problem.
it did sort of seem to imply that it was a paradise before either of them got here.
Yeah, it's sort of a the comparison being like a futuristic paradise where you've got all this technology that makes life really easy and there's no need for currency, things like that.
There's no need for magic.
Versus like a agrarian paradise where everything's very rural and people live off the land type of a paradise. So
right.
they're both types of a utopia. Just one is more extremely technologically advanced versus more simple.
And Xavier leans more towards the technologically advanced one.
Yeah,
gotcha.
The darkness seems to consume others, while the light seems to defend against that consumption.
Consumption is a word for it, yes.
It seems that the darkness is attracted to the light.
Well, it's not like you can have shadow without light or light without shadow.
No,
Much
but if
like
you get
you
rid of
can't
both,
have a positive or a negative.
but
Need both currents for a battery.
If you get rid of both, it's better.
But then you got no
it's
battery.
Different. It's different.
Yeah.
I'll also just remind the players of this because the characters will probably be thinking this as well. You can remember that through your conversations with Kara and Tenebrae that there did seem to be some sort of like, to use an Earth comparison, an Odin type figure, an Allfather, if you will, that had Kara and Tenebrae as children.
Yeah. And
that there was some dispute over who was supposed to inherit the planet that you're all on.
Yeah, neither Xavier's opinion, but
yeah.
It sounds like, according to Tenebrae, he was the rightful inheritor of the planet, but the father figure gave it to Kara instead, and that sort of caused the squabble, if you will, was the implication.
Interesting.
Now, whose side of that story is more accurate, you don't know. But that seems to be the dispute.
I think, regardless, when it's daylight, we need to head to the church.
Yes, I think that should be our first stop.
And I think we need to change how we rest. We either need to rest and move during the day.
Yeah, how
And being
can you go
awake.
to church if you need to sleep the night off, Billy?
No, like I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Shadows can't exist in the daylight, it seems. So that's the only time we're safe to sleep. Otherwise, we need to have someone on hand to defend us.
But we can't go anywhere during the night, and if we sleep during the day, then the shadows will be full power.
I said, like, we need to move and or sleep during the day. If there's nothing more that we can learn from here, like unless there's an additional data file or something that Dewey can help us with, when it's daylight, we need to move to the church.
There's
I agree.
always something to learn in a library. It's just...
Your passion notwithstanding, Xavier, I think Billy is definitely right. The time is of the essence here. Perhaps how's this for a compromise? We once sort of we have rested and Dewey has collected themselves. We'll ask if there's any more that has been learned from the sort of diagnostic. And if there's nothing particularly enlightening, we take the knowledge that we have gained, perhaps take any books that we can carry, make our way to the church post haste, and see if we can't learn more about this this binding that has been placed upon Kara. I think the most sort of deeply guarded and informative tomes are probably the ones that we have at our side. So any more that we could learn here would probably be from some of these sort of sports biographies and kind of non-fiction sections. Which I mean, there was a whole bit about airplanes, which I would love to circle back on, but I'm not sure it's sort of crucially relevant to us saving the world.
I think we need to focus
I think
on
airplanes
Kira.
might actually be crucial to us saving the world.
I don't.
I would like to believe that.
I feel like after the world is saved, then
I would
maybe as
build
a
an
treat.
airplane. Then I would build
maybe
an
as a
airplane.
treat, then the airplane.
Conrad can have little an airplane as a treat.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Xavier wants airplane.
There's
let's
There's
do this
also-
then.
there's also one thing Conrad said. You said the shadow can't move through the door. So if you find a sturdy room that with thick walls and doors, then we won't need to keep the barrier at night, I think.
I hope.
Then the next place after this should be to M5 and Twain's home. It should be fairly secure.
right.
That would be the next stop. Yes. Although
Good
I think
idea.
Yes.
we
Good idea,
More
Billy.
knowledge there.
we definitely imagine that the or at least I am seized by the
If we-
certainty that there will be a fight waiting for us there.
If we activate M5 and Twain's database, we don't need the library. We can access the library anywhere.
Theoretically.
We don't need the
M5?
library.
Hello, Agent Billy. Sentinel Billy. How may I be of assistance?
Agent.
Is there any way that we can leave a marker here in their network so that when we connect the rest, we can access the things here?
So this is a GM talking. What do you mean?
Basically, you know how like you bookmark something so that way when the network is completely back up again, you can access it. Because
Oh,
otherwise you would
yeah.
lose it.
So M5 just explains to you, like, if you're able to reestablish the Sentinel network, then the library should be accessible through that. Like, it just, all you'd have to say is access library, and you'd be able to access everything here.
Well, is there anything we can do here to help that? So maybe that next step when we get to the church, set up something there. So when we get to your home, we can fully connect them all together.
I think that's going to be automatic, Billy.
M5 does speak up and says, yes, your friend Xavier is correct. The problem does seem to be at the broadcast source.
Oh, so it's not as though like each place is blocked off by a dam that blocks things from the sea of information?
The problem seems to be at the Sentinel headquarters.
That's
the hub.
Perhaps,
We gotta
the
go upstream.
riverbeds. The riverbeds are still there, Billy, but the water has run dry. It's stopped at the source.
Yeah, we need to go upstream and let the sea of information loose.
Yes. It's been a good day for
Perfect.
analogies.
M5 speaks up and goes, a crude but acceptable analogy.
Okay, you're a hat, so let's not call each other crude, shall we?
Well, I am quite crude. It's not as though M5 is wrong on me being crude.
You've done a great many very heroic things, Billy.
Yes,
you
but
just-
I did them crudely.
Well, you just sort of serenely danced with a glowing fish made of light for a few hours. I wouldn't call that crude by any stretch.
It was quite beautiful.
It was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, Billy, you're beautiful. You're a very beautiful human being.
On that
Especially on
note.
the inside.
Nice.
How sweet. How direct.
That was lovely.
I have some doubt, but I trust you all that it's good stuff. Even if I don't believe it, I believe you who believe in me.
That's a good start.
That's definitely a good start.
On that note, we're gonna fast forward to the morning, and when you all wake, we'll be back from the break because we need to take a break
Excellent.
to stretch legs, get something to drink, whatever you'd like to do. We'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. See you then. we're back. So you all went to sleep. It's the next day. The sun is up. Well, everybody but Billy went to sleep. Billy's doing the meditative, awesome fish dance. But bottom line, it's morning. You're all rested and refreshed, and feeling pretty good physically. Yeah, where do you go? It sounds like you're wanting to head towards the cathedral.
Yes.
Yes, that was the
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I
since
suppose.
everybody agrees that what Xavier said earlier was in character, then yeah.
I mean,
Alright.
it was
No,
It's
longer-
on you.
We were
Like, you can
discussing in the
choose.
break, so that's that.
a
Yeah.
bunch of
I wouldn't
bunch of
count that.
musings about what all this might mean.
I
but-
think it'd be more interesting if that was the character.
Okay.
All right.
I think M5 might have something to say about starry thingies or something else. I forget what. And was there anything else like file-wise that we need to get while we're here and connected to that Dewey can help?
Not
I suppose we
really.
can check in with Dewey after the.
Oh yeah, Dewey was running maintenance.
Good morning, Master Dewey. How did everything fare over the evening?
Hello, citizens. The self-diagnostic showed that I was overdue for a defragmentation by 9999999
Stop! No,
days.
no, Dewey. Hey, we went over this. Big number. Just say big number.
Big
Big
number.
number. Yeah.
Excellent.
I have run the necessary maintenance and am operating normally now.
Delightful. Yes, I know that. If it's anything like cleaning your room, I always feel way better after I defragment.
Say no.
Some of my compatriots, we feel as though we may be sometime in the next few days attempting to reconnect some of the systems of this city. Do you know if we were to go to the headquarters of the Sentinels and reestablish their network, would you automatically be connected to that, or is that something we'd have to come back and organize?
I'm afraid I can't help you with your question. However, if you're looking for books on networking, they can be found on, and he spouts off an aisle
And
number.
how to make friends and influence people. Yes, all right. Yeah, I don't need any of that stuff.
No, like computer
I mean-
networking.
All right,
I
yes.
enjoy books on
Very good.
networking, but I don't think.
So
It's
you,
mostly a lot of
Now.
nonsense and noise, Xavier. You wouldn't be particularly interested in.
Dewey. So you know, actually, I wanted to ask you about that earlier. Do you know all the books by heart, or do you only know where they are?
I do not contain a database of all the contents of the books. However, I am a very advanced index of everything in the library.
I see.
So you can chart where to find along the sea, but not what's actually in the sea.
Books on ocean navigation can be found
Oh,
on
no.
aisle.
Exactly, that's
cetera,
what I
et cetera.
mean. Dilly,
I-
I'm sorry. I
You
picked
said
idiom.
not all, but do you have any books memorized?
I do not currently contain any books, the content of any books, aside from the ability to search for keywords.
Mhm.
I don't think he's a particularly voracious reader. Yeah.
He just
So
knows where they're
We would
at.
have to. No, you said about connecting to the network, but we would have to go back here to do actually any reading.
I believe so. That being said, if we were able to free a god and also reestablish the network across this entire city, we might be beyond the sort of help of a library. I think we'd start writing books instead of just reading them. That's maybe
Or
one step at a time.
starring in them.
Yes.
Do we? Do you have a book that connects to Agents of a Light and Kira?
Searching.
We've kind of read some of those over the evening, Billy.
Yeah, but this is digital. That'd probably give you different than the physical.
Well,
Search completed. I have, let's see, 2,192 volumes in fiction on Agent of Light. There are
Prolific series.
big number in nonfiction regarding
Thank you.
Kara.
Yeah, so a lot.
But overlap that contain both.
Fiction and nonfiction?
No. Like, is there anything that contains information on Kira and Agent in Light within the same book?
When you say Agent of Light, do you mean this fish?
Yeah, the fish. M5 said that anything that was a source of magic would have that be an Agent of Light.
Let's do a more targeted search. Dewey.
I'm trying.
No, of course. Dewey.
Yes.
Do you have any volumes that talk about a sort of nautical or fish-based deity that sort of just divvies out strange but incredibly convenient objects at an alarming frequency?
Marine biology deity myths can be found on aisle blah 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 blah.
No, not myths. Real. Just incredibly real. Frighteningly tangible.
Searching.
Nero?
Horror books cross-referenced with marine biology can be found on aisles several different.
See, I didn't say horror, but Dewey pieced it together.
Nira?
Yes.
While you were looking upstairs, did you get something that you saw from looking up that maybe that might be helpful? That, like, maybe you saw a constellation that maybe that might be the connection.
Oh, there was some library code that you found. Wasn't that the case, Nera? Or am I misremembering?
That was the
didn't tell
code I
Billy about
entered in there.
Oh, certainly.
And as for the constellations, where we were looking at the book with Xavier yesterday, and there was some fish constellations, but I didn't see it on the sky.
And perhaps we'll find that
didn't
chance
found
to
Maybe
look.
next night, maybe when we go to the church and then we go to the power source and then there's nothing and we need new direction, maybe then we will find for the stars, for the fish stars to guide us.
They'll always be there. Certainly. I believe we may have found everything we need here, at least for now.
So, Michael, the astral navigation thing that M5 mentioned, is basically just articles on how to navigate oceans or star systems via star charts. That was all.
Yeah, the local variant of the polar star probably, and something like this.
Yeah. Nothing terribly important to what's going on right now.
Can you download any books or information of books onto this helmet thingy so that way M5 can talk to me about it or read it, or what's the word? Recant? No.
Regale?
Recap?
Maybe?
Summarize?
Yeah. Summarize.
The library network is currently inoperative. However, you can find particular volumes on the shelves and load those into your computer.
I
Okay.
think
A
the
little discs
more
and
important thing here, Billy, is getting the network back up.
Okay, I just wanted to take at least one of those with me. So that way, kind of like, if we aren't able to, for a while, connect the network, we can at least look at that file.
Certainly. And Billy, you sort of so graciously spent your time in the library protecting the rest of us. I wouldn't want to yes, if there's a few things that you would like to grab for the road.
Yeah, like we take it with it, and then next
course.
when we at the church, we can read these files.
Delightful. While you're grabbing those, everyone else, let's get our things packed so we can make the most of the daylight.
There's actually one thing we kind of forgot in this discussion about Kara and Tanabre.
Of course.
And I think you didn't mention you found anything in those two books about this father or something that gave them this planet.
Yeah.
Dewey,
Didn't... Oh.
do you have anything about Kara and Tenebre parents in religious
Searching.
books?
There is only one book on file with the mention of the name Tenebre, and Dewey gives you the location in the basement where you got the book that was on display.
What about
And
the
nothing on their
father?
parents?
Searching Kara parent.
Be a
Searching.
bunch more, like fictional bits, I think.
I think more nonfiction, wouldn't it be? 'Cause
Dewey comes
Kira-
back with like a couple hundred volumes or different books on like parenting the Kara way. But that's it.
Nice.
Okay, so people learn from Kara, but not learning of Kira's father. Or
It's a lot of myth from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
I think we can perhaps ask Kara if we free her, or at least find where she is imprisoned.
Yeah,
If we would like to spend another day here doing research, I wouldn't begrudge it. The
No, I
quest for
think we
knowledge.
just need to take a couple of books and go to the church, maybe.
Excellent.
Let them out.
I've still got
So-
some more things to work through here.
In the interest of time, we'll fast forward a little bit for Billy. You do find a book through giving the right searches a number of times to Dewey. You do find a book on Agents of Light as it relates to the Kara religion. You find a book on that. And you find a book on the star charts that M5 was talking about. So you can kind of tell pretty quickly it's probably not going to come in super handy with what you're doing right now, but it's interesting reading. And Conrad, you're able to get that book on airplanes.
Delightful. Absolutely good news.
Okay.
Billy about to take his beautiful soul by unreturned books. That's amazing.
We'll bring them back after we save the world, of course.
Dewey
Alright.
does give you like a due date when you
Dewey
check
date.
them out.
A Dewey
A
day.
Dewey date, yes. Brilliant. So he gives you a Dewey date, but it's in a format of time measurement that you're completely unfamiliar with.
Yes. This is
Okay,
strange.
when I figure out what time that is, I'll bring it back.
It's like like how a computer would sort of keep in like an internal clock of just seconds since startup. We're like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Billy would until it probably might be decades before Billy figures out. Oh, I need to return that.
It's just some
Then
huge
returns it.
floating point number.
My Trekkie's gonna show here, but it's like if you were to take one of us and tell us star date, string of numbers, and we're like, okay,
Yeah.
what is that in
took me-
like?
It literally took me
years.
decades to learn
Yeah.
that.
We'll bring them back post haste, Dewey. Thank you so much for your generosity and your help.
It gives you like the little like, thanks for, attending the library and whatnot. Very very cheesy public building type speech.
Of course. And super quick. Don't have to make a thing out of it, but while everyone else is getting everything packed, and maybe while Billy is collecting his things, I'll just very quickly ask Dewey, it's kind of on the sly, if they had any staff records or if they knew who was working here, like like if that's something that Dewey kept track of. Just trying to piece together if I can work out if the spirit downstairs had a name.
Sure. So at first it tells you it's restricted, but you can borrow Nira for a second to get you access.
I'm just looking for a cool book, Nira.
So wouldn't I hear what's Conrad asking Dewey about?
I'm quiet. I'm on the.
Okay, whatever. It's not that I care actually, but
Thank you.
about Conrad guiding.
I thought we weren't supposed to talk, Nira.
Yeah. It's not that I have problems with granting Conrad access he shouldn't have. Not a problem at all.
I'm baking.
Please realize the query, Dewey.
Thank you.
Looking for books on baking.
I'm looking for books on baking.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Okay. And then you find out everybody who worked at the library. There is a record of an older gentleman who worked in the what would they call it? Ancient records department.
Yeah.
And you don't get the person's whole life story, but from what you can tell, reading through their resume or CV, is that they seem to be a very devout Kara follower, and specifically tried to upkeep and find new books on the history of the planet and of the Kara faction.
So Dewey's a follower, is what you're saying.
No,
Dewey's not
guy-
this other person. Okay. I just
what person? Who's the
the
person we're talking about?
in the basement.
The spirit in the basement.
I wonder
So-
if they could ever be healed.
Is this yeah,
I'm
comrade
asking
sort of
Conrad, yeah.
yeah, turns over his shoulder. Oh, hi, Nira. Yes, I will admit that's what I had thought, what I had hoped. If you'll excuse me for just a moment, and comrade just sort of ducks away, goes downstairs with a little like note that he's written that just says like, you know, Mr. Thomas on the front or whatever, and just kind of swings the door open and sort of sets it down open somewhere, and says, we're leaving for a while. I don't know when we'll be back. I think this is you, sir. I won't forget about you. Goodbye. Also, I'm really sorry. I'm not good with people, and it's a lot harder when you don't have features for me to pick up on. And I'm sort of dragging this out a little bit. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. I'm not sure if you have a heart. Wait, that's not helping. Listen, really,
Are you coming?
Ed, coming! And I close the door and run upstairs. Hello. Let's. I'm ready.
We're gonna pan the camera back down to the basement for a second. So the audience is able to see this. Characters have no idea what's happening, but this ghost that you had previously insulted and hurt its feelings so bad, ghost, spirit, shadow monster, whatever you want to call it, Pokemon. It sort of floats over to the note, seems to read it, and its eyes, instead of being super dim, sort of brighten up a little bit. They glow a little bit brighter, and it seems to be a little bit happier.
I love it.
So, as you get ready to go, I assume that you talk to one or both of the helmets as to how do we get to where we're going.
Church, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was yours, Nero, that was doing most of our navigation, right?
Yeah, I
Twain.
think we would not change this, and you would leave again from my helmet
Served
to
us-
show the
yeah.
way.
Served us well so far.
M5, Twain, you guys are. Do we need to get a battery or anything before we leave?
Current battery life is 29 days. There is a charging station here that you can use for us.
Okay, we'll
In the
charge. and then-
library?
Okay, let's charge up and then we'll go.
Oh,
Okay. It takes like 30 minutes. You're able to charge the armor, and it lasts for like a year.
Oh.
well, weird for us to ask about that when we are leaving.
Okay, we're on an adventure. We're going and we're going.
Yeah. So
Oh, we're singing again. Excellent.
so yeah,
be back.
on active mode,
Singing in the rain.
both sets of armor will last plenty of time, like a full year.
Yes,
Active
perhaps longer than us. Ha
Hey, so we can actually switch to active mode now.
Billy
Maybe that's
just
not a
accepts.
bad idea.
Yeah, Billy just accepted it. So, I can just leave you active on and not have to
Okay.
worry.
Right. Okay, let's switch to active helmet.
We're going to the church.
Switching
We're
to
going
active, Sentinel Mira.
I thought we were going to the source.
After the church. It's along the way.
I.
It's on the way. It's a far way, but it's like church is midway.
Your
M5
protest to the
Is it on the way?
Yeah.
It is actually.
Is it really? Okay.
Yes.
So M5 and Twain, now in active mode, start scanning everything around them. Ooh, we've got an object placement. Nira can smell fish from Xavier's backpack. Assuming Nira investigates, there is a large bundle wrapped in fish leather. Inside is candied fish, nicely preserved. There are wet, long, fingered handprints on the package. And a note, "Won't you all dance with me?" signed F. That is lovely.
Oh, I love it.
So we're
Wholesome.
dancing and we're walking as we're going to the church. We're walking
So,
and a dancing.
Do I smell the fish?
Yes, you would.
Something good.
Good as we're going to the church. We're going to the church and we're smelling something good.
I'm going after the smell, and that leads to Xavier.
Okay.
It seems we have some new gifts from the Radiant Fish Giver
Ooh, really?
to start the day.
Yeah,
It's
we
nice
gotta get rid of
breakfast.
The fish giver while we're going to the church.
Check your backpack, Xavier.
Xavier checks his backpack.
And yeah, you find all of that in there. A very nice package.
Ooh. I believe this is for you.
No. It says all.
Like really long fingers on the handprint.
Ooh, it's kind of
Oh.
almost like a salad fingers.
So, I guess we're having a picnic.
No,
No,
we
we're
can-
just grabbing a bite and then we're walking. Billy just like grabs one of them and just like dancing and walking towards the
yeah, we can dance walk.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Eating fish and going to the church.
We're going
That's
to the church
fantastic.
while we're eating some fish.
So, being in clearly good spirits and it being a particularly sunny day, you are able to make it over to the cathedral without really any incident. You don't see any shadows along the way. They seem to be haunting other parts of the city for today. And
Interesting
you-
phrasing there, haunting.
I mean, and yeah, there's the buildings around there are. I mean, there's obviously some roadways that are blocked off, but you're able to find a pretty direct route considering the amount of destruction is that's in the city. And so you eventually find yourself in front of a building, and we're going to.
I hear some clicks.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, that was
that's me.
Raven setting up.
And yeah, as you may have seen throughout this entire campaign with our cover art and our ad,
Oh dear.
this is the scene that you all walk up on, and you can see that this used to be a some sort of church or cathedral, and there's obviously other buildings which have been broken down quite a bit, but the cathedral itself seems to be mostly intact.
Goodness. It was sort of times like these, it brings it back into stark reality how much of this world used to be, I don't know, alive. Could you imagine this place being full of people? This city, these tall buildings, it's boggles the mind.
Yeah, it's
odd
almost...
there's no art of that.
What?
How do you mean?
I mean, you would think someone would have drawn like a landscape or something of.
Well, maybe
People-
the people were taken away and consumed by the darkness, and the only people left were those that were not above ground.
Yeah, well, we don't know how quick this process was. That's something we've been
If they lived here,
wondering.
they wouldn't need to have any art of this town, any pictures, because they have it. They had it on every day.
Yeah, it's not
yeah.
like we ever did art of my dad's garden, or of the buildings that we did school at, or our clubhouse.
I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, it's
I mean, I did art of. I drew the clubhouse.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Did you guys know about that?
yeah. Xavier's been doing drawings for as long as we've known them. Sometimes sort of to the detriment of his health and ours.
But did you
Yeah,
take
I drew the fish. I drew the mushrooms while they were attacking us.
did you take
Yes.
the drawings of the city with you? Our town?
Yeah, I have them right here.
Oh.
He pulls out all of the drawings he did. Is that flips to the
that's-
pages?
Do I always have like that weird hair? Like, is it just like a tangled mess?
On some days, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, perhaps if we find some spare time, we can get a sketch of this place to show back home.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good idea.
Yeah,
But
and
we should make the most use of the daylight while we have it.
yeah, and Billy like spray paints in the front before we go with the symbol of Kira with the paint.
Okay. As it so happens, there's actually quite a number of those marks on the building itself too. So
I'm guessing that's Billy realizes as they're making the symbol.
Good bit of vandalism.
Oh, there's one already here.
I would imagine there might be, yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
It can't hurt to sort of show that we're on the up and up, though.
As you head towards the front door, you can see where there's sort of a ring that's been sort of, for lack of a better description, really sort of burned into the ground. So the asphalt and concrete tiles and different things look like a ring has been burned into the ground all the way around this building. Not quite sure what to make of that. Just at a cursory glance, you could investigate it further if you'd like.
Helmet would probably know what that means. Helmet, what does this burnt light mean?
Does it mean something good?
Does it mean something bad?
It's difficult to
Nah.
analyze. It looks like this happened more than 100 years ago.
Okay, so nothing we gotta worry about. And then Billy walks into the church.
Possible
but-
causes. Some sort of natural disaster. Religious cult markings. Or very powerful light dome.
Like protective ball of light.
Correct.
Like with a fish dance.
Similar, but by a factor of 2,000.
Oh.
That's a big number. It's a lot of fish.
Wow.
Can I kneel down? Did Billy cross the threshold without incident?
Yeah, there's doesn't seem to be any active effect of it. It's just evidence of something that happened before.
Conrad just sort of reaches his hand out, very delicately, sort of puts his fingers over the threshold. Nothing happens?
Nothing happens.
Excellent. Not that I thought it would. We're in a good place. Everything's good. Let's go inside. We're all safe. All of us, including me. Onwards.
All right. As you head inside, it's a rather large building. You can see there are the design sort of almost Gothic in nature, like Gothic architecture. If you think of some of the old like Catholic cathedrals that you'll see in certain parts of Europe, it has that sort of same aesthetic to it. So there are large stained glass windows. Most of them are half broken out, unfortunately. But there are rafters overhead. Sort of this dark, thick wood type rafter. It's obviously been stained, and it's embellished with sort of different metal fixtures on the joints and things like that. Hanging chandeliers, which are in various states of disrepair. And they have electric lights in them, which are obviously off. On the ground floor, much like a large cathedral, you'll see a lot of sort of pew type benches. Many of them are broken. They're sort of scattered around a little bit, like as if, say, a mob of people were trying to run out of the building, for example. Up towards the far end, you can see a door that goes out to the left and to the right, to the outside. And there's sort of a little stage area with an altar, and there it looks like barely more than like a walk-in closet, but it's just sort of this little tiny room that's right behind the altar, and it looks like the door to that would normally be sort of flush with the wall there, so it's sort of a hidden door. Not like a secret door, but just hidden so that it's not obvious it's a door while they're holding services or something like that. But it's sort of half off its hinge, and inside you can see sort of a cot inside with actually a skeleton on it. And then to the left and to the right, there are other doors that go further back into the building, both of which are sort of half hanging off their hinges.
Okay, so
Oh, dear.
do we want to pair off? One goes left, the other goes right. Then if anyone hears a scream, the rest run toward them.
I don't think splitting up is a good idea.
It might help
Just
us cover
because-
ground faster.
That's why, like I said, if someone screams, we all run towards them. So
Well,
I'm scared. No.
that means like you would be the loudest. So
I
we
had some
know, like,
competition on that front.
so that means like Conrad go with someone and Xavier go with someone.
Maybe let's not split. I mean, if we find something interesting, then we could split it when we are together. When the group is not split, we can split the loot.
I
instantly.
Sorry. Ooh. Could somebody that body, is it is it dry? Are there any yuck bits left?
Wait, there's body.
It's skeleton. It's bones.
Well,
What?
We already had a talk about bones. Conrad doesn't like bones.
I don't like any of it, but just the sort of it gets pretty yucky for a long while. If it's just bones, it borders on comical and makes it a little easier. But sometimes there's little bits in it.
Okay, I'm just gonna go the right direction. Someone can follow me.
Oh,
Okay.
just no, Billy.
I want to find more about Kira. Like, there's no books or anything about Kira in there. There's bones. So left to right, there's gonna be information. So
maybe he has some sort of notebook or diary.
Do you see it? I don't see it.
I'll check.
I'll come with you, Billy.
Okay.
Xavier.
Gwen, what is Xavier doing through all of this?
Sticking close to Billy because Billy's not going to go down easily.
All right. So Billy, you're headed towards the right room.
Safety and Billy. There's safety and Billy. Not safety numbers, safety and Billy.
Gotcha. So Billy, you're going to the right room. Was that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm left alone
with the skeleton.
I would stay back with Nira if the everyone else is charging ahead. I wouldn't want anyone to be alone.
So Conrad and Nira are
and then
investigating
Billy and
the
Xavier.
room.
I suppose we'll go left then.
After we check this small room. Okay.
Yeah, if you hear a sort of shrieking, shrill, feminine, high-pitched scream, that one's me.
I know, you sound beautiful. I'll come running.
Thank you.
Helmet, do we actually need to scream, or can you talk with M5?
I'll
in
take it
normal
anyway.
voice?
I can alert the other AI to any danger that might be present.
See, we don't need to scream.
I'll keep
Helmets
that in
can
mind then.
communicate.
And
My
you
very
also,
pragmatic, utilitarian shouts of terror.
you might also note that the Twain has a little bit of a tone in their voice when they say the other AI.
The other AI.
By the way.
I do enjoy this rivalry.
Okay, so you're inspecting the skeleton.
The body.
We'll pause there. Let's go to Billy and Xavier as you go into the right room. That being the one on the right, not the correct room necessarily. Just to be clear. So as you go in, you're able to spot a few things right off the bat. One, this room looks a lot smaller than that side of the building. So clearly there's other space outside of this room. But it looks like it used to hold some sort of clothing, maybe. There's like a closet on the left-hand side. There's a big bar that would normally go across to hold up clothes, though it's been broken off on one end. So it's just sort of laying down on the floor on one end. The other end is still attached, sort of bent. There are a few boxes that seem to have deteriorated quite a bit. Various knickknacks, things like that. Nothing really salvageable that you can see.
Anything shiny?
No, not really. Except for on the back end of the room, there is a large, clearly metal heavy door that is locked and seems to go back further into the rest of the building.
Ooh, shiny. Billy will try to just like open it, even if it's locked, and then we'll try to do the trick like they did before with the unlock of just pulling out a little piece of gem at the door.
Okay. You try to open it, and it just rattles. It's very, very locked. And you pull out a piece of gem. You're trying to form it into a key or something like that?
No, like we did last time of like used it as a focal to almost like a laser was the last time we did this.
Oh, to sort of cut the door open.
Yeah.
You can certainly try.
Okay, I'll roll magical engineering then.
Yes. 27. Good roll. However, you notice that as this laser is trying to work, it doesn't seem to be having much of effect on the door. The parts where it's touching the door get a little bit shinier. It seems to sort of burn off some thin layer of corrosion on the outside. Makes the metal underneath a little bit shinier. But that's all it seems to do. And as it does that, you kind of realize you don't quite recognize what metal this door is made out of.
Billy then would like if that's the case, then just kind of like focus the beam to the piece of the wood that's right next to it, like, or the wall that's right next to it.
Okay. As you move it over, something seems to be keeping this door from being opened in that way. The wall itself, there's probably like something akin to drywall, and that burns away. But underneath is more of that metal. So it's very clear.
What are we trying to accomplish here? I missed that last part. Again.
Trying to get past this big metal door that seems to be locked in this room, and it goes back to the rest of the back side of this building. But clearly, it's been set up in some way to keep people from being able to break in. There is a keyhole on the door, though.
Yeah. Would I be able to like unlock it?
Do you have a key?
Yeah. We got the magical key from that room like we were exploring originally that had the 4 locker boxes in it that had the photo.
Was there a key in that?
Was there a key in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we got the
there
Iron Man
was.
suit, and we got the cool photo.
And a key to unlock things within that room. Whether or not that key would still work here, we don't know.
Okay.
Can I was thinking more along the lines of with magic. But...
Surprise, Xavier. With let me look at my character sheet here for a second. A spell?
I'll give you this. You try the key that you got, and it's not the right size to fit in the lock. It's too small. Xavier, if you would like to use magic, you are certainly welcome to try. Which side of the coin do you use?
Darkness.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh! That'd be a 28 there. 11.
Okay. Gwen,
Uh-huh.
evens or odds?
Odds.
Odds. All right.
Right.
Okay.
I'm
It's the
excited.
lesser of the two results. So in this cathedral of Kara, on this giant metal door and wall,
Why would you use dark? Why would you use dark?
Cause Xavier?
you use dark magic. It's an action that has consequences. There's this sort of feedback that comes through your magic where it's touched this door lock, and it basically hurls you back very forcefully, repels, if you will, and you end up landing on the pews out in the main room, and you take 5 damage. As you basically land on one of those pews, shattering it in the process. Conrad and Nira, you're trying to inspect this body. As you approach it, you see Xavier being hurled through the air into a pew.
Xavier!
That didn't work.
What didn't work? Were you trying to fly again?
Take a note for science.
Well,
I darkness does not work in cathedrals, clearly.
Oh, that's interesting to know. I'll put a pin in that. I helped Xavier up to their feet. What? Are you all right?
Perfectly all right. I'm going to go back to the door.
Okay,
And
good luck.
use light.
We don't need to be making any more corpses.
So, like, I imagine that while like that's happened, like Billy was just going along the wall with like this like little laser burning away the drywall to see how far that metal goes.
It's the entire wall.
Yeah. Like again, that's roughly Billy's just going along that wall then.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it seems to be very much so protected from anything that doesn't have the key.
Oh! Can I look for the key instead?
You can. I will just go ahead and give you this. It's not in that room.
It's not in the room that I flew into. Okay.
Yeah, the room that you were launched out of, it's not in there.
No, I'm talking about the room I'm currently in.
Which room did you go into?
The one flew into the pew.
Yeah,
He didn't
I
go
flew into the
into any.
pews. I flew into the pews.
Right, and then I thought you said you got up and went back into the room.
No,
No.
I'm looking for the key.
Oh,
I
okay.
changed my mind.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay. I thought I was going crazy there for a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
In that case, roll sight here in the main room.
Okay.
And then
I'm
we'll
gonna
hop
use
over to
I'm gonna
Mira and
use
Conrad.
D6.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna use this D6. No, this D6. Ooh, that's 20, and then sight is 4, so 24.
24. You look around the room. You don't find a key that looks like it goes to that door, though you do find one that looks like it goes to the front door of the cathedral, so you could potentially lock the doors that you came in through. Handy thing to have. You also find a bunch of older versions of that Kara Bible that you all have. The sort of
Definitely collecting that.
sort of like finding a sort of like if you found a Middle English Bible.
Yeah, that's the collector's
So it's,
item, and Xavier's a collector.
Yeah, it's probably a little hard for you to read, but it is, you can actually read it. It's just, you kind of have to
Not right now. Later.
struggle to remember your old vocabulary words from
Absolutely
the
later.
old days.
Now it's not the time.
And that's about all you find. So with that, we'll pop over to Conrad and Nira. Obviously, you were approaching the skeleton, and Xavier flew by you. Now that that's been dealt with, do you go right back to the skeleton?
Yes, I need.
at
I'm
some
going to
distance.
search the room.
Okay.
And
Go
the
ahead
guy.
and roll sight. You can both do so.
Yes. Excellent.
24.
Hey, Nero, look
24?
at you go.
Nice.
There we go. I borrowed your
That's
roll.
funny. So, with the two of you, Nira, do you look at the room first or the body first?
I was keeping my distance from the body.
Yes,
so I
as
might take the
Conrad.
room.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, then Nira, as you inspect the body, it is a skeleton. There's really not much left on it other than just the bones. But in its hand, you see another picture, sort of like a postcard. And I'm trying to remember if I have that one in here.
Wish
I don't
you were
think
here.
Oh no, I don't have one for that yet. Okay, never mind. I don't have a visual for that one. But the picture is similar to the one that you saw before, which is maybe I do have it. I think this is it. Yep, here we go. And for everybody else to see what it looks like. Looks like that. So it's sort of a picture, and the back of it has some writing on it, and it's from that resistance that you found the message from previously. And the instructions state that you can get into what used to be New Berlin through this escape sort of tunnel. And you can tell by looking at it that this picture is probably from hundreds of years ago. Unlike what you see here, it's the version that you have has scratches on it. It's probably a little bit faded. But you do recognize some of the vegetation around and that pink-purple sky as being similar to the picture that you found previously. So it looks very much similar to... where's it at? To this area. Which Roll20 is making it blurry for some reason. There it goes.
Alarming folder names on that list, Raven.
On what list?
Oh, just peering down at the very top.
Oh,
There were just a couple.
I see.
Nothing too enlightening. Just a lot of grim stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything.
A lot of those are from the miniseries where everything was destruction.
It's a lot of death and destruction. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same game instance as the miniseries. So yeah, you find that, and so that's in his hand.
Okay. And that's all about the body.
That's all about the body.
It doesn't
room...
look
go ahead, sorry.
disturbed. Doesn't look disturbed, broken, or anything.
Nope. There's no broken
People
bones.
probably died. Some probably died from natural causes.
Yes. There's no broken bones or anything like that. They appeared to have died peacefully, and from everything that you've been able to see, if the darkness was the cause of death, there wouldn't be a body. There wouldn't be bones or anything like that.
Are they laid down in like robes or a shawl or something, or is the implication that this was so long ago that that's just faded away to the elements?
Yeah, you don't notice any like recognizable clothing. There's probably some strips of cloth or something like that, maybe here and there, to indicate that it was dressed at some point.
Goodness.
Okay, so I'm stepping from the body. I'm showing Conrad the picture and what did Conrad found?
Okay. What did I find?
So Conrad, oops, that's the wrong.
Powerful, humble 20.
There we go. There we go. So with your 20, sorry.
It just saw the two me's. That's too powerful.
Yeah. I clicked the wrong button. So with your 20, you find, in addition to obviously the skeleton laying on the cot, there's a footlocker, and in the footlocker you do find a key. as well as a note. The trick with the note, however, is that it was written on some sort of paper, and the ink is so faded that you can't read it.
Oh. Oh dear.
But that appeared to be some sort of instruction, maybe.
Okay.
But you do find a key.
Everyone else is a bit busy. Nira, you're sort of meeting back up. I found this this key, which is perhaps what Xavier is looking for, and also this note, though it seems so faded. I was thinking perhaps I could use some magic to attempt to darken the ink. Though from the sounds of it, from Xavier's attempts, I should like to do that outside the cathedral.
Maybe
I could certainly help with that.
Helmet is good at scanning things. Maybe it can make the
that's
shapes better than us.
That's not a bad idea. Twain, if I hold this sort of taut, could you
Please
sort of
scan this if you can read this.
Scanning.
Oh.
Don't move it.
Sorry.
Please
didn't
hold the
know if I-
document still while I scan.
Yeah,
Sure,
start
yes,
put it on the
with
Yes,
table.
hat. No, well, because if I hold it taut, then it's you can sort of read it. I'm being an assistant. I just don't want to get in the
Unable
way.
to
'cause-
scan. Please hold the document still.
Put it on the table.
I put it on the table. Lay it out flat. I'm just worried you
Scanning.
call me Agent Conrad again. That's not.
Sorry. So the helmet goes, is there a name that you would prefer to be called?
No, it's Agent Conrad's really cool. Actually, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Conrad's
Very
fine.
Very well. No, Agent Conrad's actually very cool.
That honestly, that's fine. I'll take it. Bit wordy.
Mm-hmm.
In the effort of efficiency, would Agent Conrad be an appropriate shortening of that name?
Sure, Twain. Thank you. The note, if you would please.
Scanning.
Please do.
Unable to get a full reading of the note, I can extrapolate with a 23% chance of or degree of error.
I suppose that's better than nothing. Let's see if it's at all relevant or perhaps private. But if it's something that we would like to pursue further, I can go out the radius of this warding, whatever it is. and
What
use
do
my-
you mean private? Helmet, please read it.
Well, yeah, maybe an alien concept for you, Nira.
I believe this note is a set of instructions on how to use the key you found with it.
You should turn it in the.
And this kit would be for?
The note specifies that this key is part of a set of 2 keys, one for the door in the left room, one for the door in the right room. This appears to be for the door in the right room.
Which is where Biddy is now.
Correct,
does-
Agent Conrad.
Can Xavier hear any of this?
Xavier, you were saying you found a key as well.
Uh,
No, Xavier did not find the key.
Oh no, disregard.
And
Xavier, you hear Conrad and Nira talking, but until you walk over to them, no. You don't
You
know
probably
exactly what
might.
they're saying.
You might hear Billy just, let me in! Let me
Okay.
in!
Billy's found the door on the right. Okay, so this is one of 2 keys. We've got to find the other one. Does the note mention the key's location? Sir Twain?
Helmet?
It does not.
Interesting.
Okay.
However,
We
there
don't
is.
even know.
It would appear there's a similar door to the left. It does not mention if it is locked or unlocked.
That's what I
Go
was
in-
going
Go
to
in there,
say.
find the
Exactly.
other key, go back.
Go find another door
Xavier will. Xavier
to
will
check
walk-
if they're locked first.
If Xavier hears them talking, Xavier will walk up. Did you find something?
Yeah, we
Because-
show Xavier what we found.
Oh, good. I was looking for a key.
Yes. Yes, among other things. I was thinking perhaps I would quickly take this outside the radius. I assume it's that sort of blasted circle in the ground that wards away any dark magic. But
Yeah, I've already tried dark magic. It does not work very well
Yes.
here.
But I figured I could quickly pop outside. I guess.
Thank you for the key, though.
Sure, certainly. I'll leave you all to figure that one out. Could someone accompany me? I don't really want to be
I
alone.
will, of course.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Xavier will
We'll
walk
make
with
a
the
good
key back
baking
to
team.
Billy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Dealing with sort of secret notes, this feels like very, very sort of Baker-centric work.
Xavier ignores anything that he hears after getting the key.
Excellent. Yeah, good luck. Take it to Billy, see if you can find anything of it.
Okay. So Conrad and Nira, what exactly are you doing outside?
I'm just accompanying Conrad.
I'm going outside the radius of this circle. I'm assuming that's the ward that sort of stops dark magic from being used. And I'm going to try and draw, like, interacting with secrets and the past and sort of old lost letters. This feels like very dark magic. So trying to take the ink and sort of draw on that contrast between it and the paper and make it more readable.
You can, but it will cost you a dark point.
Never mind, Nira. Hey, I know you've been playing around with some. Actually, I've had a thought. This actually doesn't seem like dark magic at all. This is light magic. This is a note written by a sort of devout member of this faith. I think you have shown some trepidation. There's a reason I wanted you to come with me, Nira, and it's because this is a learning moment for you. You've had some trepidations about using this magic, about applying it yourself, and I would like to, you know.
What?
Well, you've sort of had this connection with the light above.
Yeah.
Your efforts to actually use this light within you, you've been sort of cautious about it, and I'd like to encourage you, like teaching someone to swim, sort of baby steps. And this note, the stakes are very low.
Don't remember the school? No swimming jokes with Catalans.
Okay, sorry. Like learning to ride an underground bike. We have those. An underground bike is what we called it. A bicycle. I believe in you. I believe in you.
Let me in!
Echoing from inside the chat.
Okay, so what do you want me to do?
Cast
What do
a
you
spell.
think?
Use your light magic to draw secrets from the darkness upon this note.
Okay. So I'm using my hands over the paper. Show me the secrets.
Good work.
Roll magic engineering.
Excellent work.
There's a slight glow from your hands. Makes the paper look slightly brighter. That's about all that happens.
Drat. Well, you know what, Nira? Good work. That's a good start. I'm very proud of you. I think we've gotten everything we need to do out here, and I don't feel the need to press our luck any further. Perhaps some of our comrades can make more of this note. I am swept away by the certainty that my magic will not aid us in this effort.
On that note, let's pop back in where Billy and Xavier now have this key.
Xavier just marching up with the key. Billy, try this.
Hey, I will try to stab it with this key.
Oh gosh.
And Billy with the key just puts it into the lock and turns it.
Okay. It clicks over with surprising ease. It's like a brand new, well-oiled lock. Very odd that there's no friction or anything like that, with this being clearly a very, very old door. It just clicks right over, and you're able to open it.
Ooh, fascinating. Now, the sooner we see what's inside, the sooner we go to the next place.
Yeah, okay. Billy just does Billy as enter see anything shiny in there?
You do see something. You just get to spot where it's. Trying to find the right map that I had for that.
'Cause I'm really enjoying this flaw that has to go towards the shiny things.
Thought I had a thing for this. I guess I did not. Tell you what, we'll just use this one instead. Ignoring the fact that this is a tunnel, but this is kind of what Xavier sees, Billy, as you open that door. As you open the door, there is a bright, blinding light that comes out of it, out of the opening. Conrad and Nira, you can both even notice it through the side door that you exited.
Oh.
Xavier immediately creates like a light barrier with light magic.
It doesn't really do anything. The moment the door opens, he loses interest. I just noticed
Billy
that.
is running towards the light.
Okay.
That doesn't sound cool.
Oh dear.
So
He's been running
Billy,
headlong for 7 episodes thus far.
Billy, as you run into the room,
That would assume Xavier had interest in the first place, though.
as you run into the room,
Let's better go.
you can see that there is another door. The room is mostly empty.
Billy will try to open the door.
There is a sort of a hatch in the floor, which is currently closed. That seems to go into a tunnel, and then to your left there's a door, which seems to be where that bright light is coming from. And now that you're in the room and your eyes have adjusted a little bit, you're able to see a little bit better, so it's not quite so blinding, though it is very, very bright. And it's clearly not a like flashlight type of light. It's you get the immediate sense that it's supernatural in nature.
Can I make it darker?
Billy's gonna go towards that shiny light.
Okay. Xavier, you can certainly try. Where are you exactly at the moment?
Blinded by the light?
No. Well, what are you? Where are you? Are you still
Xavier?
outside the metal door?
Yeah, still outside, still like,
Okay.
So I would like to make it darker so I can see.
Okay. Describe how you would like to make it darker.
So,
With light magic. Obviously.
no. I want to like make sunglasses or something.
Okay. So you're wanting to make sunglasses out of like dark magic?
Yeah. Basically.
Okay, you can certainly try.
Or light magic.
Oh, upon second thought.
Upon second thought,
Light magic, it's light. It really doesn't have an effect.
so dark magic it is. Let's hope
Okay.
Xavier doesn't get zapped again. Ooh, nice. Nat 20.
Nice.
That is-
Evens or odds?
Odds?
Okay. I also got odds, which is good for you. So with a nat 20, you make like the most perfect set of like Ray-Ban sunglasses out of dark magic. So it's literally their glasses made out of shadow. And the moment you do, they start to sizzle.
Yeah.
And sort of bits of it are evaporating along the edges. But for now, they're functioning as sunglasses because you got a 42 for your magic roll. And that's pretty much the only reason that they are still functioning. However, it might be a little uncomfortable having sizzling sunglasses on your face. It's not burning you, but it is probably
more
just...
uncomfortable than not being able to see.
I mean, Billy's eye is adjusted, so you'd probably be fine in a little bit. But
Yeah, let's just sizzle in the meantime.
I'm just gonna
But-
start backing up.
But I feel like this stays true to the Xavier is super extra brand here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Xavier's just fine with this for now.
Okay, so you back up. The glasses sizzle a little bit less. Conrad and Nira, you've seen this
Keeps
light coming
backing
through.
up until they stop sizzling.
It won't stop sizzling until you leave the building.
Until you turn your dark magic off. You just...
So Conrad and Nira, you see Xavier backing up with these dark magic sunglasses on.
Yeah,
You saw Billy charge in.
I ran to follow Billy.
Yeah, I run to follow Billy, and as I pass Xavier, I say, Xavier, you have read so many books. You are so smart. Why? Stop it! Stop doing that! Stop! And I'm just running down the tunnel. Stop!
Dismisses the sunglasses and runs after them.
All right, so you're all in this room. Billy, you opened the other door, right?
Yeah, I'm going towards the light because it's shiny.
Okay. As you open the door, you see, albeit it's hard to see because it's so dang bright in there. You see sort of like a it's almost like a casket standing on one end. So like the feet part of the casket would be on the ground and it's standing up, upright. But it's made entirely out of what looks kind of like glass or maybe some sort of crystal. And inside is someone that looks very much like who was it? Xavier and Billy, who you saw in your visions or teleportation or whatever as Kara. And she slowly turns her head towards you, and there's a spark of recognition in her face.
Oh my god.
And that's where we'll end the session.
Xavier, just the shape of sunglasses burnt into their face.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kind of imagining like when you go to the beach with sunglasses on and the rest of your face gets just a tiny little bit sunburned.
Yeah, the reverse of that.
Yeah, exactly.
The reverse of that.
It's like the inverse sunglasses tan line.
That's so powerful.
So, that was fantastic. You all found Kara. Congratulations.
It's a trap. I don't trust this.
Or did you find
Remains to
Kara?
be seen.
It's true.
Yeah.
I am devious after all.
Still not interested. Still not
It's
interested.
unbelievable to me that Xavier could walk into the room after all of that, getting hurled across the temple, walking back in with burnt sunglasses and saying, "Actually, I think you're more trouble than you're worth." As though he's
There's
got
a-
any leg to stand on.
There's an episode of the IT Crowd that comes to mind immediately where Moss is trying to distract these girls by trying to get them to look out a window. He's doing a horrible job of explaining this imaginary thing out there, and they just don't give him the time of day. He's like, "Well, you just have no interest in the world," and then storms off. That's what went through my mind.
Big
Anyways,
Xavier energy.
Yeah.
yes, a fantastic session, everybody. Very good evening, or day or morning, wherever everyone is.
afternoon.
Yeah,
Please
let's.
Just like, can we get to the internet, please?
Listen, that's a mood. I'm here for it.
Yeah, that's fair. But we're gonna go on a raid here in just a moment. But before we do, I want to give everybody a chance to say what was their favorite part of the session. Where can we find you next? And anything else that you'd like to share, a website or a project that you're working on, anything like that. I do need to go grab something really quickly and take care of that. But we're gonna start with Callan. Tell us a little bit about what was your favorite part and all that, and when you're done, we'll just pass it on to Gwen if I'm not back by that moment.
Awesome, easy.
But I'll have my ears on. I will be right
Okay,
back.
sure. That was great as always. Goodness, my favorite part. I really I normally don't sort of pick scenes that feature Conrad, but I really enjoyed all the bakery stuff with Nira, and the sort of like
Yeah.
chaotic energy there. That was heaps of fun.
That was amazing.
Yeah, all of lots of really good sort of character stuff between everybody today, which was delightful. Yeah, that was lovely. What else do we do here? Like, sort of, you can find me here
Yeah.
next week, right? For Lightbringer as always, or otherwise on the Twitter at the name.
Yeah.
That was lovely. Gwen, and your sort of powerful chaotic energy, I pass to you.
So my favorite part was definitely Xavier trying to open the door with magic, and then
Immediately.
the question was, what kind of magic do you use? It's like, obviously I'm using dark magic.
Obvious.
Who? Because Xavier. and then when we fight Tanab, right? Xavier's gonna use light magic. because
Xavier, exactly.
yeah.
So where can we find you next?
Versus Kara is dark magic, versus Tenebrae is light magic. Gotta use the opposite.
You're actually not wrong on that. Because Xavier, I love that.
Yeah, and also that's a great raid card. But yeah, everybody else is like, oh, we're saving Kara, and Xavier's like, saving? Question mark?
Oh, fantastic.
Find you next for
yeah, tomorrow.
Badlands? Yeah.
What's the name?
Not Badlands. It's Hunters of Calamity.
Hunters
Hundreds of Calamity. Yeah.
All of us do that frequently, so don't worry about it.
I think like
Hunter...
because it's the Borderlands inspired one.
Yeah.
My
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Badlands is Saturday.
It's legally distinct from Borderlands.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, my bad. No, Badlands is the time
Calamity
travel one,
Hunters.
right?
Yes.
Badlands is the time travel one, yeah.
Excellent.
Calamity Hunters is the trash fire, and I'm the fire.
It's you're not wrong.
They provide the trash, I provide the fire. And
That's a
sometimes the
great way to
trash
put
as
it,
well.
actually. Perfect. And then Econorlax, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And anything else that you'd like to share?
I like the baking club part too, but my favorite part was Xavier trying to use magic everywhere where it was not necessary. Carrying book, opening doors, making glasses. I love the dedication of this character and the fact that actually they want to abolish magic after all. Use it all and abolish it, so nobody gets more of. more
Yeah,
than
while
that.
you've got it.
Well, you
Yeah.
got it. It's just a tool. And I
you
will
can
use
find-
any
Great.
tool at my disposal. Just
You can find me next week here, probably. I mean probably because in the sense that nothing comes earlier, not that probably next week here. I'm most centrally next week here.
Gotcha.
Excellent.
Fantastic. And Michael, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And anything else you'd like to share?
Did we go over Econorlax? Where to find them?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. My favorite part which I think Conrad did mention a bit on it, with the whole argument over the bread thing. Like, it's just like, it was so adorable. Nira and Conrad were like just, I think I might have just had the entire time you guys were both doing that. Like, it was just so cute and adorable, and just was the best. And like, it just the fact that kind of like I mostly just sat back and watched others. It was so good, and thankfully the cliffhanger saved us from Billy doing something stupid. So
Oh,
Noah
no.
actually got some time to think instead of trying to bash it open.
Excellent.
you mean trying to punch Kara?
There's always next week.
Yeah, but the thing is that I now have time to think versus, oh, I see the shiny thing, must free the shiny thing. Yeah.
Oh,
So-
I thought you were going
Oh
to
my
punch
goodness.
Kara. I was like, what?
I mean,
well, it's
I-
not an
that was-
option.
kind
That
of.
was. Yeah, I thought Xavier was the only one anti Kara.
No, like again, but again, it'd be more, oh, I'll punch my way through.
Yeah. Punch
Yeah.
the glass.
Yeah. I'm Michael Wayne on Twitter and just about everywhere. Something that kind of like I'm looking forward to and hope it has Critical Pins, which is currently about halfway funded on Kickstarter. It's about 33 out of its 7,500 goal, which having a gender or with the along with the critical 20 of the nat 20 from like critical demi, critically bi, critically arrow, a gender,
Oh,
age,
yeah.
critically trans, critically poly, critically queer, critically pan, critically non-binary, critically lesbian, critically intersexual, critically gay, and critically
lot of 'em.
fluid. Like, and once it actually gets to a certain pin, not only will you get that, along with it, you'll actually get pronoun pins that'll go along with it once it
Oh,
gets
very
to a
cool.
certain pin. Yeah, but again, it's those stretch goals, like where I think it'd be like in purple when it gets 85,000, pink if it's 95,000, green 10, I think, whatever, and it keeps going up from that. For that would be included with your pledge of just once it gets to those stretch goals points.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. I'm trying to think of what my favorite part would be. The whole thing was so good tonight. I really enjoyed Conrad's sort of like, asking for a friend, type approaches to certain things. That was pretty great. And the whole thing that happened with Nira and it becoming, stealing and heist are baking, which I have no doubt will make its way to anything that I do now that involves, a story or a game around thieving. It's going to be just baking now. Xavier being super extra the whole time is so on brand, and I really, really liked Billy's conversation with M5 about the dance. Like, the whole description was just very beautiful. I thought the whole thing was great. And then, of course, everyone that spent guild coins, and thank you very much, Alex, for that resub. All of that was fantastic. As for where you can find me next, I will be here DMing tomorrow for Hunters of Calamity. It is a Borderlands-inspired game run on Monster of the Week. So very much in that same genre, though we are doing a completely original story. It's a garbage fire on wheels is not inaccurate. It's complete pandemonium, but it's funny and silly, and it's a lot of fun. So definitely come by tomorrow and check it out. 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. And those are daylight time. I have to remind myself that we just switched over. So 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, because of us doing Daylight Savings Time, which I wish we didn't do. But anyways, that's tomorrow.
So much.
I do too. But that's tomorrow, and of course you can always find me on Twitter, right below my face here. All that being said, we're going to go on a raid. We're going to go raid my lady Saito, who's another amazing DM. She is one of my favorite people on Twitch, and just a wonderful person in general. Definitely give her a follow if you're not doing so already. And we've got our raid cry. Also, I forgot to mention a couple things. One, casting. We still have some spots open for next season on, I believe, Monday, Tuesday. I think Friday day is full. And I think there's one spot open on Saturday, I think. Anyways, our day games. So Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. Our daytime games are 1 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So if you're interested in any of those, there's the info there. We also have some openings for one-shots every Friday that we do community games for. And then last thing I wanted to mention, something to keep an eye on. I just got a notification today that this channel has been given bit emotes. I'm still not 100% sure how those work, but Twitch unlocked it for the channel, and I'm going to be looking into that this week. Evidently, when you give a certain number of bits, you can unlock different emotes, which I think opens up a lot of emote slots for us. I'm not sure how long those last, but you'll be able to use them across Twitch, it says. So I'm going to look into that and how we can get those set up, but exciting news for the channel. That'll be happening here as soon as I can figure it out and get stuff uploaded to give you guys even more emotes and things like that. So keep an eye out for that, and I'll make announcements as well as I get more info. Yeah, we're going to go on a raid. Here is our raid cry. Feel free to copy and paste that. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.